What is up, everybody? Welcome to the 777 podcast. Today, I am joined here with my good friend Pete and my good buddy Jack. How's it going, guys?
Hello.
That's Zach.
Blast
I
from
mean,
the past.
that's Pete. I'm used to Zach being on the podcast and like everything, so I'm just used to like saying him that he's joining us. By the way, Pete, this has been a pretty great podcast so far. It's been about a month that we've been doing it. We've had Mitch on, we've had Jerome on, we've had Zach on, we've got you on now. We're gonna have Rob next week, dude. It's hype. This podcast is hype.
So you guys have been doing it for a month then?
Yeah.
Yeah, this will be the fourth. Well, technically, if we're talking about the ones that are viewable now, third.
Yeah, it's the third podcast, but it's like we had an episode 0 where like everything just went down the tubes and it was everything was just saved to the
Twitch.
ether.
Yeah, Twitch didn't save the VOD, so if you weren't there, like it's just gone. Like you didn't
That
see
was the
it.
one of Mitch, right? I saw that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
Hey, if you watched it live, that's epic, man. That's cool. That's super sick. But yeah, so here we are, episode 3. You know, we missed episode 0 for most of the viewers out there. But honestly, nobody seems to mind. The views are getting like a decent amount on YouTube and everything, and people have responded very well to them. So
Chat's been steady too. Here on Twitch, it's usually like peak like 50 to 60 people.
Yeah, for sure. I completely forgot to like hype it up this week though. Like normally I hype it up like crazy and I'm just like, yeah, let's go podcast, we got this. It's mainly because like there's just been so much stuff that's been going down. It's hard to like keep track of like everything that's going on at once. And like Jack almost bailed on us last second. And
Why do you gotta say bail? All right, why do you gotta say bail?
because I don't know. You didn't explain anything. You're just like, oh, dude, I'm just like feeling bad. I just don't want to do the podcast.
No.
I'm like, okay, I understand, but like, you could have given me like a bit more of a notice than this. Like, we're going on in like half an hour.
No. I know. It was just like, man, am I even gonna be able to be like present? Am I gonna be like in it while I'm here? Like, I figured me half-assedly being here would be worse than me not being here.
No way, man. You got to represent. That's what
Listen,
they say.
man, I'm here. We're here. We're getting it done.
Yeah, we're getting it done.
Do I have to be a moderator when I'm a guest right now? Or
No. You stay out of this,
for
Pete.
20 minutes?
You stay out of this, Pete. You don't have any deal.
shut the fuck up,
Yeah,
Pete.
exactly. That's right. So Jack, what?
Scoots away.
I'll just leave. It's fine. Don't worry about me.
Oh, I'm in the middle this week. I just realized. What the fuck?
Oh shit, you're right. God damn. All right, hold on. Let me just take care of that real quick. All right.
Well,
That's
chat,
gonna
it
be
was nice.
boom.
Nice while it lasted.
No,
Hey,
you
I
didn't.
see Zach in the chat right now. Bring him on. He can be the moderator. You get more people in this.
Zach, sure, we can get him in here, but like let's keep it. I want to.
He's raiding and WoW. He said he'd be busy today.
Oh, okay. We're gonna keep it the 777 for now, and once we get our new logo up, then we're gonna put it at the 777. And that's like that's when we're going premium. That's when we're joining like Disney Plus and shit.
Been a month yet. You haven't had time to brand it properly.
Dude,
yet.
we're
It's
exploding.
Exactly.
We're exploding, dude. Like we're getting
Quintuplet
so much ground and traction. Like we don't know how to handle all this growth. Like it's insane. Like it's gonna be the quintuple podcast, the quintuple 7 podcast. It's gonna be the quadruple 8 podcast, dude. It's
gonna look like the Brady Bunch fucking intro with just 3 rows of slot machines.
Yeah, we're gonna be halfway through the podcast before we're done introducing like our guests.
Yeah, exactly. Give us something about yourself. Just repeat 9 times.
Exactly.
Have you seen?
Talking about Nerf footballs at some point, doing like minute ad breaks and like, yeah, let's make some money. Why don't we?
That's right. That's right.
Did you ever see Into the Spider-Verse, Matt?
No, I didn't.
There's like a running shtick in that movie where like they're all Spider-Man, but from like a different universe, like different version. So like 6 different times in the movie, they're like, let's do this again, and they explain themselves. Like I just imagine that would be us with the podcast.
Nice.
It's pretty funny.
Have you seen Into the Spider-Verse, Pete? You know what he's talking about?
Yeah.
So you know what he's talking
I'm
about?
surprised you haven't.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big movie watcher. Like, I'm more of like a game playing guy. Like, watch Twitch streams, like that sort of thing. Like on my weekends, I like spending it like, at like friends' houses or like, just landing or something. Like, no, I don't really watch movies that much. Like the last movie I saw was
I'm not
Joker.
a very big movie guy either, but sometimes you gotta, like, my girlfriend has been yelling at me for years, being like, dude, you gotta get out of the house and go to the movies every once in a while. Like Spider-Verse is out, Toy Story 4 is out, Joker's out. Like, do you care about me at all?
Yeah, I know what you mean, man. I know
What was
what
the
you
last movie that you went and saw in the theater?
Joker, which wasn't that long ago.
All right,
actually.
besides Joker, because that seems like
I
super.
have no idea. I literally could not tell
Nada.
you.
I
I
saw
literally
Endgame.
could not tell you.
Did you go see Endgame?
No,
Really?
Oh my god.
did not see Endgame.
Dude, Spider-Verse actually became my favorite movie of all time. Like after the third time I watched it. Probably the like first time, but like it really solidified it. Like the third time I watched it, I was like, this is a fucking just perfect movie. Like
That's that
like,
really cool cell shaded version of Spider-Man,
Yeah,
right? Like, yeah,
it's like a living comic book.
Oh my
Like,
god,
it
the
looks so
artwork's
cool.
incredible. It's so good.
that's cool. That's cool.
The behind the
They got a new
scenes
one
are
coming out
nuts.
2020 as well too. Or
I
2022,
know.
I think it
I'm
is.
so stoked for that. Yeah, it's like in like 3 years. Like it's something fierce, but like they dropped it on Twitter and everyone like lost their mind. I was like, finally we know.
That's hype. That's super
It was
hype.
sick.
Man.
The soundtrack was sick too. The only way you don't like that soundtrack is if you just hate hip hop music, like entirely. Like you can't even tolerate it. Like it's so good for like every scene that it's in.
Okay.
That's sitting here thinking, why'd I bring on a guest to talk about topics I don't care about?
But to me and
Wow,
Pete,
no, this is-
welcome to the Spider-Verse
Dude,
podcast.
I love it. I love it. Jack's just like, oh man, Matt, you're gonna have to carry this podcast. You've talked like 4 times more than me, like right now on a subject. Like,
Okay,
it's
listen, I
perfect,
normally
dude. It's
talk 4
perfect.
times as much as you.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. And then like the other 4 times is from our guests, and then I'm just
That's
there
true.
throwing in stuff every now and then. It's great. So
That's
like,
true. That's true.
so Pete, I want to ask you. So I recently saw your video about how your channel's being targeted right now by like some bullshit like PC stuff. Like what is going on with that? Because that really triggers me.
You haven't. So you brought on 3 other YouTubers and you haven't heard anything about COPPA.
Dude, I don't. Well, no, we talked about it. We talked about it with.
I told him about it last week, but we didn't like delve into it because I didn't want to talk out my ass. Yeah,
Or just
well,
casually?
a little bit on the podcast. I didn't want to talk out my ass on it because I felt like I didn't have enough information to like speak on it without sounding like ignorant, pulling cliff notes out. Like I was hoping you knew like for sure, like could explain it like I'm a child because I didn't want.
Oh, I could, I could Reddit ELI 5 real fast here.
Yeah,
That's what I mean. Like,
Because apparently to the FTC, all my content is for 5-year-olds, so that's why we're in this situation in the first place.
Okay. Shots
so-
first.
So, God, I have so many of them. So basically, the FTC has been up YouTube's ass since 2013, but YouTube's been lying to them. There's a law called COPPA that's been around since 1998 that says if you run a website, you can't gather information from children under the age of 13. So that's not talking about like, you know, when you go to fill out like a web page, there's like, you know, name, address, social security number, credit card info, like that kind of bullshit.
They're not gonna ask you your social insurance number, but social security number. They're not gonna ask you that, right? Like
You didn't.
I
Have
know
to
what
give
you
that
mean.
when you sign up for Twitter.
a social security number? No, dude.
shut the fuck up.
Like that's like
Anyway.
that's like
No,
for
but
your
you-
doctor and your
change
taxes
the-
and
change
shit.
topic, change
It's like,
topic.
yeah, I just want to make a Twitch
just wanna
channel.
tweet- I just want to make some memes, dude. Like, fuck.
Hey, I've never been hacked in my life. All right, don't let us start now. Anyway, so
But they can't gather like advertising information, like track their trends and stuff. Like
well, that's the
cater to them.
problem. That's the problem. So anybody who's been making content for children under the age of 13 is at risk right now because YouTube's been collecting cookies from all these kids, even if they're not signed in. So like, you know, if kids got these interests or they're playing these games or whatever, now the website knows all about like, you know, what kind of games they watch or what videos they watch. And YouTube got caught with the FTC on that back in 2019. I think like God, I said back in 2019.
Bruh. We're not 2020 yet. We're getting there. We're getting there,
When
man. But
am
listen,
I?
it's
I
like
feel
there's
like
another
I'm
month.
already there.
Who knows if we're gonna make it though? Because like the crazy shit that's going on in the world. Anyway, let's hope. Let's pray for 2020. All right, let's pray, boys. We got this.
Did you think the world was ending when that what was it, like December 21st?
It was 2012.
2012. Let's just say that I was like way too. Let's say I may have ran out in the streets naked with like a crazy top hat on and like some of those like light up sprinklers or whatever, like, you know what I'm talking about, the ones you put on your birthday cake, and just like running around in circles screaming it's the end of the world. So I mean,
Happy TikTok wasn't around back then, or you'd be on the internet for sure.
God, dude, I should have been honestly. It would have been sick. Just like a little vine, just be like, look at this guy.
There was part of me, like an irrational part of me, that was just like, could it? Probably not, but maybe. What if? And I sent some like sentimental text just in case. Other than that, I didn't fucking.
Did
care.
you actually?
Okay. So,
Yeah, because I'm a fucking idiot. Like I just in case, bro. Like, you know, dude. Listen. it was like the most hyped. Like, there's been events like we're all gonna die before in our lifetime, right? But like that was the one that was like, man, this is the one that like everyone's fucking talking, like just in case, like.
No, it's because they made a movie about it. It's because they made a movie about it.
No, it's when you send
I forgot
like
they made a movie
sentimental text to your friends. And you're like, you know, we've just had like a really good relationship, and like I've loved being your friend for so long. They have no idea what's going on in your head, so they just text you back like, "Are you okay? Are you?
Yeah,
sick?
are you fucking idiot?"
You?"
Like,
Oh, that too, yeah.
That's when I realized I should probably stop sending those and just keep that internalized until something does happen to me. Like, hey, snap a picture of me in the hospital. Like, yeah, now something's wrong. Yeah, anyway.
listen, I was also like 16 when that happened. Like,
You know, there's like been 3 doomsday predictions like in the past 20 years, and like none of them are fucking true.
yeah.
Only 3?
Yeah, well, I mean, 3 big ones. The 2000,
There was-
the year
there was
2000,
Y2K,
there was Y2K. There was
the 2012.
2012. The really small one, which some people still were believing in, was the June 6th, 2006. Some people were like scared about
Oh, like 666.
that. Yeah, exactly. Like some religious nuts
What
were
the
like,
fuck?
yeah, that's like the day we're all gonna die. It's Judgment Day. You guys are all fucked. And it's like some people.
Chat says
actually believe that.
2012 was the last movie Matt watched.
2012. That's right. That's right. Oh. Man.
But no,
So, yeah.
Pizza, keep explaining. Keep explaining.
Yeah. So YouTube had been lying to the FTC that they weren't gathering info, and a few months ago, the FTC caught up with them and sued them for $170 million. Specifically, it was $42,000 per violation, which meant per video. If that was true, they'd give them millions. I don't know how the number was that low, because surely there's millions of videos that follow.
Google has infinity lawyers. That's why.
Yeah, they do.
Probably. Anyway, so because of that, YouTube's implementing a new law for its creators where you have to say whether or not your videos are targeted either for kids or not for kids. The problem is that with almost everything that YouTube and Google has been involved in, their guidelines are the most vague bullshit you can imagine. Like, so Minecraft, right? You know, like the characters, you can have them be like whatever skins you want. There's a clause in like 12 different clauses in this that say if your video has like child friendly, or like not child friendly, but like cartoon resemblance characters, or like
like appeals to kids, like
looking. Yeah, but like you could say like Spider-Man or SpongeBob for that, but you could also say Minecraft characters because of how they're formed. Yeah. So if you say your content is for kids, your video, to go down the list, will have comments and likes disabled.
What the fuck?
Your video, oh god, it gets so much worse. Your video won't get pushed to subs. It won't be in recommended. It will not be searchable. It will lose targeted ads, which that's the main thing. So the targeted ads, like the cookies or whatever, which is how a lot of us make our money on YouTube, like 90% of it, will lose that if these videos are clicked as, you know, that they are for kids. So we lose about like 80 to 90% of our revenue. But the thing is, that's if the video like behaved the same way any other video would. This is on top of it's not searchable, no push notification will go out. Basically, the FTC doesn't want kid-friendly content on YouTube's website. They told them, we do not want you having kid-friendly content on your website anymore. So all like the, you know, Ryan's toy review, FTC doesn't want that there. So YouTube basically is going to make your video invisible or not searchable on their website. So the FTC is like, this video doesn't exist. They could even make your entire channel, if you say that all your videos are for kids, they can just say your channel's not searchable anymore or recommended. So you can't find a person's channel unless you know the URL directly.
That's so fucking stupid, dude.
On the contrary, right? Because like for me, I make Minecraft content, but my channel's PG-13. I curse, I say, you know, I talk about topics that kids just likely are interested in. But that doesn't matter. If I say that my video is not for kids and I run targeted ads, all are the usual, but the FTC finds my video and says, no, this is for kids, I'm going to get fined the $42,000 that YouTube had to pay earlier. YouTube is letting the FTC fine creators directly. There's no cushion for them. They're not protecting us at all. So for every single
find
video
you. They don't find YouTube. They find you.
No. They find me. They FTC has explicitly said in one of their interviews with the chairman talking about it, saying that we are specifically targeting creators like they're fish in a barrel.
What the
so
fuck, dude?
There's no service for us. So that's currently being talked about right now. And there's like some other bullshit about that the FTC has a clause in it that says that there needs to be a third option for targeting kids and adults, which I guess my content could fall under.
Yeah.
But YouTube's not giving us that option because they don't want to lose money as a corporation.
They're already losing money. It's crazy, dude. It's
more.
Dude, it's so fucking stupid. Literally, if you look on all of the big channels on YouTube, like 50% of them are music channels, and the other 50% are like unboxing channels and like Minecraft channels for like kids and stuff. Like, there's no, besides like maybe PewDiePie, where it's like edgy content for like young adults.
There's also a
and
giant portion of YouTube that's like makeup and beauty, and it's like a giant, also like corner of YouTube that like you either know about it or you
corners of
don't.
YouTube everywhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just the sheer volume of views and sheer volume of like monetization that comes through just to those channels that they're targeting right now is like such a huge blow to the community, especially in Minecraft. Like, just because like maybe not you in particular, but there's so many channels out there that are just like kid-friendly Minecraft videos, and then just literally kid-friendly Minecraft out the door. No more money for you. You suck. Get out of here. We don't want you. It's like, what the fuck? What are you gonna do? What's your job now?
Well, you say not like me, but I fall into that category. The thing is, like, people keep saying, yo, you could just drop like an F-bomb, like just say fuck in the first 30 seconds and you'll be fine. But that doesn't matter. If you look at my channel, because one of the other things that falls under like the 12 categories of does this classify as for kids, they literally put bright and saturated colors as one of the clauses. Like, does this look eye-popping like a kid would want to click on this? And all of my videos do that. Like, it's not like I'm targeting kids and with a lot of other creators, but you don't want to make dull videos because then you're going to be back in 2012 era where if you upload a video in MP4 and you go down to a cave, you're not going to be able to see shit because you didn't put brightness up in Sony Vegas.
This sounds like some bullshit corporation scam to get people to like watch like some other content, or to like shut down free content creators on YouTube so that they can start pushing their own like premium Disney shit and like all their like toys and stuff with commercials. Like, what are you talking about that these people are providing this content for people to watch, for kids to watch, when you yourself are pushing these advertisements for all these toys and all of these movies and all these cartoons that are all appealing to kids? Like, what are you on about? Like, target those guys. Like, it's so stupid. What do you
say? That's exactly what they want, though. I mean,
that's the thing is like YouTube makes so much money off of that.
How long has YouTube been promoting corporations and talk show hosts and celebrities and their trending pages? That's been a topic for what, like 2 years at this point now? That
yeah.
If a video does really well in views, if it was like an honest and, honest to God upload, you're still going to have Jimmy Fallon at #1 recommended for trending because that's what YouTube wants. And here's another topic, because the way you bring it up, like, all these creators are making us money. This has made me think that YouTube was never meant to be a job for anyone. Because if you think about it, when YouTube first came out, there were no partnerships. And then it took like maybe 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 years after YouTube was created. Not even, because you couldn't even partner directly with Google. They didn't offer as an internal thing. You had to go through Machinima. You had to go through Fullscreen. You had to go through a bunch of other third-party MCNs first. Then you finally got that paycheck. So there was a lot of trouble. They didn't make it direct. And now, with the demonetization if you curse and the COPPA thing taking away even more of your revenue, it's like, I think a lot of creators, myself included, got stuck in this job that YouTube never really intended to happen. They just kind of got stuck with it, and they're like, okay, well, we're in the thick of this, so we might as well like give them a rep at YouTube to talk to and make Google or YouTube gaming and focus on live streams. But like, I don't know, I don't think
you're probably
YouTube
onto
really
something,
makes
man.
money
because YouTube was around for like a year before Google bought them, and I feel like that's when they were like, cool, we spent like $1 billion on this. How do we now monetize it? And it's like, we just get the workhorses to try to like pay them through this avenue and that avenue. And I feel like a lot of it wasn't like, kind of to your point, like I don't think they thought ahead about that and exactly how it would work, a decade or two after they decided to make that call. And I feel like they're seeing ramifications of that now. Where like YouTube, of course, like before, of course they were doing it. They were breaking the law. They were like, let's gather the data. Let's monetize towards kids. They give us the views. They're here every day. Like the kids, their parents just put their kids in front of YouTube, and that's just where they go now. Like it's consistent like ad revenue, right? But basically they got caught with their pants down, and now YouTube's like, well, fuck. Now our like easiest, like mind-numbingly like easy to grab audience is now like costing us more money than it is otherwise because of like legality reasons. So now they're having to jump through more hoops to try and like differentiate it. And I feel like YouTube loses this one. Like I feel like YouTube now has to like jump through 1,000 more hoops than they have to. I don't think they're winners in this or they want this. I think they're like legally are just getting their arm twisted, and they have to do it this way now, which they should have had to done all along. But I think now they're like backed against the wall and they have to do something. I don't know if this
has got to be so terrifying as a
Yeah,
YouTube
like-
creator.
yeah.
Because
It
this
Can
already
is
you
is.
claim your
Yeah,
channel
yeah.
or individual videos? Like, could you have to claim your entire channel as like
You have
kids or
the-
no, or is individual videos kids or no kids?
You have the option of both. So if you make
Okay.
varied content, you can say that some are for kids and some are not for kids. Or
I feel
you
like
can
that's
just
dangerous.
Well, here's the thing. Sometimes you don't even claim it on your own. Like right now, there's a couple ways for you to not have to claim it immediately. Like this, they give you the option right now of is this for kids or is it not for kids? But the law hasn't gone through yet. Like it hasn't been passed until I don't know when we're gonna get notice that it has officially gone through, or if that will only happen. It's supposed to start January 1st, 2020. That's the date that this is all supposed to happen. But already right now, you have to say whether or not your content's for kids. I mean, I was playing in a Minecraft tournament a couple weeks ago, and I had a partner who is a PG content creator who streams on YouTube. And halfway through our stream, maybe like an hour and a half in or whatever, he was saying like, yo, I'm getting like a fraction of my views, like about 150, and I usually get like, insert 8, 9, 10 times that amount. And he tweeted out afterwards saying that YouTube automatically claimed his video for kids, so his stream didn't get pushed to sub boxes. That has already happened now. There have already been channels that have had their entire channel marked as for kids. And there's already been videos that have been marked by YouTube as this is for kids. Thankfully, it hasn't happened to me yet, so I don't know firsthand what that would do or how the effect would be on that, but it's already happening right now.
That's ridiculous. That's honestly like I've never experienced anything like that in my entire YouTube career, and like I've never seen. This is unprecedented. There's nothing that even comes close to how like mind blowing this is for so many content creators. Like, what are they gonna do? They legit like have. You have to seriously consider your options now, because I don't think that jumping ship is like even an option. I think that you need to like stick to your guns, and you need to like find a new way to like monetize, and you need to like figure out maybe not a new platform, but you must consider it. Maybe try to put a little bit more emphasis on like Patreon or something, where you upload videos there like a week early, like a straight up week early, and be like only Patreon supporters are able to see them earlier. And it's like you can literally see their videos for 5 cents. Like if you just give them 5 cents, you could see his videos for like a week early. You can still watch them on YouTube earlier, but like for like you'll have to wait a week. You'll have to wait a week for them to come out, because the way that the monetization is working right now, people are just they're losing their jobs. Like, it's as simple as that. Like, this is like the new age recession. Like, this looks like we're about to start a fucking world war, and like there's like all this shit that's going down, and like so many people are like losing their jobs and like falling to the wayside because like they're in the wrong industry or something, and like or in the wrong place or something, because this has all been seen before in like World War I and II. There's always this massive recession where like the prices dip and everything, and like there's just so much shit that's going down, and it's freaking me out. Like it's really giving me a bad taste in my mouth and a bad feeling in my stomach. And like
YouTube
shit like
is
this is
also-
massive. It's
YouTube has
massive.
also been catering the front page for a while, like trimming the fat of to like what exactly they want to show. Like, is it 10 minutes? Yes. Is it like remotely friendly? Yes. Like, is it, even if it's not in your sub box, like is it somebody who is verified? Yes. Like, if it's 2 hours long, unverified, even if it's something you're interested in, it probably won't even appear recommended unless it meets like 30 other criteria. Plus, we've seen this once already, like within the last 5 years, with 2 different instances of like the adpocalypse, where advertisers are pulling out because people are swearing, people are talking about X, Y, and Z within the first 2 minutes of the video, and people had to adapt. Like, I think this is just another thing that people are going to have to adapt to, but I think it's just going to be scarier because before, worst comes to worst, you didn't get monetization on the video, right? Now, worst comes to worst, you're out $40,000. So it's because that's the fine, like for breaking this, right?
Yeah.
Pizza?
Yeah, and you can also, as a result, I forgot to mention, if the FTC sees that you're doing this, they can just terminate your channel in addition to that. Because they're like, okay, well, you got a violation going on. This person, you're getting sued. You're just a creator. Your channel's gone. Like, tough shit. It's interesting that you talk about, like, you're comparing it to the adpocalypse as well. Because, like, the adpocalypse, you know, people adjusted. But, like, I think, Matt, you had mentioned, like, you know, talking about, like, the good old days on YouTube and how, you know, back around, like, 2013, 14, 15, everything was so simple. You can monetize anything. But God, even if this whole thing is hyperbole and everybody is just scared for no reason, this is like all blown into proportion when it's not going to happen because it might not go through. That's the thing. It might not go through. They extended like a longer commenting period where you could talk to the FTC directly on it. And a lot of people have done that. A lot of people have voiced their opinions, like really good reasons why this is a bad idea. Like, for example, if you take away children's content, you can't take away the children. So they're just going to wind up watching raunchier shit like us. If they're, you know, Dan TDM suddenly can't make YouTube videos anymore, he's got to go around playing, you know, Gears of War to be able to keep his revenue up or his channel visible. Like, those kids are just going to be exposed to worse content. And then you're going to have parents knocking on the FTC's door complaining about worse things. But, like,
yeah, that's an amazing point. That, like, literally shuts down their whole argument. It's like they need to have, like, this streamlined content for kids because that's what they want. That's what they want. They want the segregation between, like, the content for kids and the content not for kids. That's the whole point of this stuff, you know? Like, isn't that like what they're trying to do? They're trying to protect their kids that way. So that you're going to protect your kids by taking away the money that the guys who are producing the content for the kids. Right. That's really going to make the guys who are creating content for kids, like, happy, and that's going to make them continue to make the content for kids. Fuck no, they're not. You're getting no more people making content for kids. All of a sudden, there's no more content for fucking kids, and they're going to go and they're going to find exactly what you said. There's Gears of War stuff, like this Resident Evil stuff, even Call of Duty is, like, sort of like not even for kids, but like some people say that it is.
Is there a function, like, is there a way when creating, I mean, I don't know how there's probably no way to do this retroactively, but they could just enforce it going forward. Is there any way you guys can think of during the process of setting up a brand new Google/YouTube account, like, that you can pretty much guarantee that a kid can't finish the process? Like, right now, it's like, what's your age? Everybody could just fucking lie, right?
Yeah.
But, like, is there any other, like, question or basically form to fill out while making an account that would basically future-proof you to, like, either a parent had to make this for a kid and say yes and agree to all of it, or a kid just outright can't finish it? Like, I don't know what that would be. I mean, you said social earlier, but, like, I feel like a 16-year-old could get that. That's still a minor.
Driver's license, form of identification. I sure as fuck didn't have that when I was 13.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, and your parent has to okay it all along the way.
There's no way in God that I mean, well, it's
not impossible.
They're asking for like ID form for this sort of thing, but, like, they already asked for your phone number, which, I mean, even that could be tied as to, like, you know, if you were 13 and you use a phone number, that could probably be tied back to you and fine. But, like,
I want to know why the fuck they care in the first place. I honestly think that if you're a kid and you're smart enough to go on the computer and look up something that you want to see, you should be able to see it.
Matt.
No, they can't. It's the collection of data that's the problem.
No. That's the thing that I left out. So this law, COPPA, has been around since 1993, or no, either 1993 or 1998. I think it's 1998. One of the two. Anyway, it's
yeah, you're right. It's the data collection.
Mm-hmm. It's meant to get renewed every 10 years. Through some delay, it hadn't been renewed until 2013. That's when the last time it had been renewed, and that's when YouTube started going into the shitter because they were violating the law. But this wasn't meant to get renewed until 2023. You ask, like, isn't it like nobody wins? Then you got all these kids, they're watching raunchier content. Like, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, because the FTC advanced the renewing of the bill because a bunch of parents were coming in yelling at them about it. And, you know, like, listen, you know boomers, you know, these parents that are protecting their kids thinking, why is my kid, listen, I know that I gave my kid an iPad when he was fucking 7 years old because I'm too lazy to parent my kid properly, and I'm letting fucking Jacksepticeye babysit my kid, and why is he cursing when all his videos look like they're for 10-year-olds through the thumbnails? Like, this surely looks applicable for my little Timmy. So, and then you're like, why is there cursing? So I'm gonna go yell at the FTC, like, you got to fix this. So the FTC bent over backwards from all these parents that don't know how the fuck to raise their kids. And they're like, okay, fine, we'll just renew it 3 years early. We're not going to think about it. We're not going to be sensical. We're just going to shut the door on it without any form of thought, without any function of, oh, right, this might make it so kids only watch R-rated content. This might make it so a bunch of child-friendly creators have to switch over to worse things, or a bunch of parents get yelled at because their actual child-friendly content is now no longer here. That's the biggest problem. Kids are not smart enough to switch platforms. I sure as fuck am not even. I don't even have the due diligence to be able to switch to Mixer or like download that app, because I used to watch Shroud, but like I still haven't even downloaded Mixer, and I'm 22. You're telling me these kids that
I forgot about Shroud actually. Yeah, he went to Mixer.
Shroud and Ninja both. Courage is on YouTube. If you look at the numbers, like the stats on that, you're right. Like kids, like let's be real, chat. We all love you, but like audiences are lazy. Like they just are, right? Like
Absolutely.
they want to go to their platform that they do every day. Yeah, everybody wants to go to their platform that they go to every day. They know the interface. They know where everything's at. They know the format. They know what it looks like. Like that's what they do. Like if you look at Shroud and Ninja's numbers, like they have steady viewership, of course, when they stream because they are still that relevant. But at the same time, it's still a fraction of what they had before. It's because they got paid a bunch of money off front to offset the difference of what they wouldn't have over time. But at the same time, it's like, you're right. If we're not going to do that, we're fucking grown adults, so we know it's like 3 clicks, right? Type in MIX. Oh, it auto-completed. Hit fucking search. There it is. Like, it's that simple, and we're grown adults on the internet all day.
But we don't
do it. Kids aren't going to do it. Kids know the YouTube red and white, like, layout. They know the boxes with the timers in the corner. Like, they just know it, right? Like, they just do. And they're not gonna retrain their brain on how to do that. It's just,
dude. When I launched Firefox, like when I restart my computer, I go to, like, the first thing that pops up on Firefox is my 10 most visited websites. So I click on the first one, which is Twitter. I click on the second one, which is Twitch, and then whatever third one, I just like click and drag. You're telling me I have to like type in MIX, like a different website now? Like, so these kids, they're not going to switch applications.
Right, they're trained on apps. They're trained on little tiles, right? Because of cell phones.
The little iPads that they have. Yeah, the little iPads. It just says YouTube on it, and it's big and it's red, and it looks nothing like everything else. So, oh fuck, it's YouTube. Boom.
Kids, yeah, exactly. Kids are so, like, I want to say kids, but we're so fucking lazy. We click our way to the thing we want to watch. We don't type. Do you ever think about that? We don't type our way to what we want to watch anymore. We only tap our way to what we want to watch. Like, it's like he said, like I click Chrome. Twitch is like the second most viewed website. Whoever I'm following's on the left, I click that, and then I click full screen. I did not type anything. Like, kids aren't gonna fucking.
I look at my keyboard.
Following list. Yeah.
Exactly.
I look at my keyboard and I'm like, the energy that it takes for my finger to push this button down is too much. So I'm just gonna move my mouse a few inches to the left and then click on the link that I want, and then we're good. And then we're laughing. We're watching, we're watching Twitch. We're watching YouTube on auto repeat or auto play or whatever it is. We don't have to type anything. Come on. Who needs to spell things? Who needs to be literate?
Because they're gonna go to the app store. They're not gonna search for the Mixer app either. Like, it's just the same shit.
One of the funniest comments I'd ever seen. Sorry, but like one of the funniest comments that I ever seen. It was like after one of those those shock posts on like Reddit or something, where somebody just writes like you know what I'm talking about. It's just they type like a paragraph of just like really raunchy copy pasta whatever, and then like the first thing that like is written underneath it is like, I regret learning to read because of this. That learning to read was a mistake. I'm like, that is so. I feel that on a spiritual level. Oh man, imagine a world where you're just not taught how to read. How the fuck would you function? Like, that shit's crazy to me to imagine that. Like, just think about that. How much would life be different if you just couldn't read English? So there are people out there. There's like hundreds of thousands of people in America right now, possibly millions who cannot read English. How
Yeah, I
insane
went to
is
school
that?
with like half of them.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's insane. How is that like? Oh my god! And like some of these people are like leaders too. They're like politicians. How is that fucking possible?
How do you get here every week? How do you do it? You fucking dance your way to politics every week, Matt. I don't know how
Well,
the fuck you do
we're
it.
talking about PC culture, man. PC is literally politically correct. That is what it fucking stands for. Politically correct. The reason why we're seeing so much garbage PC culture is because of the garbage political situation we're in right now. And who the fuck knows when it's going to be cleaned up? Seriously. Like it's ridiculous. Like it just keeps getting worse. I don't even know what, like literally the best moments were when Obama was president and he like actually just like got shit done. And he like just like I wasn't in the States when that was happening, but like on the outside looking in, it looked like he had shit down. It looked like he had it he was on top of things. Like he was just like he's like within the first year of his presidency, he's like, yep, we killed Saddam Hussein. That's it, he's gone. And it's like, holy shit, what a fucking monster. How does he just do that? Like what did Trump do? He called Kim Jong-un fat and he like called the Egyptian guy like a dictator, and that's all he did. That's his entire fucking presidency in a nutshell.
Listen, shut the fuck up. Listen, I know that reading Twitch chat is like, and responding to it is just bad podcast, because then you're just going to read what chat says all the time. But I love this one. A digital hunt. Matt just mansplained an acronym.
I'm usually the one who watches chat for like questions. Chat, if you guys want to interrupt us with a question, the donos are open too if you guys want to butt in and get our 2 cents. Oh, so, okay, there was another instance. This was a long time ago. This was like Modern Warfare 2 peak relevance, like between Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 1, I think, where it was...
Yeah, Osama bin Laden, my bad.
No, but like...
what did you say?
I said Saddam Hussein is a different guy. Different guy. Same idea.
There was a time back between Mod 2 and Black Ops 1. There was a time where another thing almost went through. It scared the shit out of YouTube, where basically it was the argument that like when you upload gameplay footage, like you don't like they could copyright claim it because it's their game, right? Like it's their content.
I remember that.
Right? Everyone was scared to death of that. Like gaming
that was happening to like Nintendo. It was Nintendo games it was happening to.
It was happening to Nintendo a lot. That was their own personal thing. They dipped on that because they realized people hated that, and they bailed off. They stopped being boomers about it.
That's a terrible.
But so far, history has shown that like the fucking nerds usually win. Like usually we can get through.
Yeah.
This is the only one I'm worried about because kids are involved, and that's so much more like vital. It's more volatile. Where like this needs to be addressed. This needs to be like tweaked and changed. Like I'm not saying uproot YouTube's whole, way of doing things and enforce this and people getting fined 40K, but like. If kids are involved in like legally, like don't be a scumbag, then like what is the better solution, right? Like what is the thing that we do to like
you want to know some woke shit about this whole
Open
thing.
My third eye. Fucking hit me with it.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it, Pete.
A lot more than that. I'm gonna open a lot more than that.
Oh, I'm bent over.
Listen, what if the FTC actually has people's interests in mind? All right. So when you're in a relationship with somebody, one of the forefronts in making sure it's a good relationship is sex. I'll end it there. Anyway, so hold on to that, right? A good sex life means that you're usually happy, means that you're just going throughout the day in a better mood. Testosterone can kill you, right? It can make you the most vile creature. That's true. Yeah. So all these things better to avoid stress, right? So there's been so many articles about like new age millennials, Gen Z are not having sex. They're like,
oh yeah, dudes are playing video games. They're not out. They're not out.
Because they're like, I'm just gonna fucking play the new Modern Warfare. Fuck having a girlfriend or boyfriend. Like, you
that whole incel shit is the worst thing I've ever seen in my fucking life.
So hold on.
I think there's some merit to it though.
No, I know. I completely disagree. I think for every one person who's a fugly motherfucker, there's another person who's equally fugly, and they're just made for each other. And it's like,
please don't leave me hanging when I'm in the middle.
I'm sorry, man. You got
I'm
this.
going down a really rough road that I need to finish, or it's just going to be
let it out.
Yeah, you got it.
So anyway, how did this whole thing become a problem? Parents, right? Parents of these kids, okay? What if the FTC just wants a bigger population and they're scared that we're not going to repopulate because of fucking video games? So they're saying, wait a minute, what if we just tell the millennials in an indirect way that they need to have their own kids? so that the millennials, the smarter ones, the ones that know a bit more about pop culture and YouTube and all like these internet websites, can then come to us and educate us properly on this situation. Because the FTC is just listening to parents that don't know about this sort of thing, but they're not going to listen to us because we're not parents. What if they just want to hear from parents, but we don't have kids? So we can't yell to the FTC about our kids in this situation. So they're saying, go have kids. What if the FTC just wants us all to fuck like rabbits and just have kids? Maybe that's the bigger situation in this. It's not about demonetization or privacy. It's not about that. They just want everybody to be happy again because they realize, look at this younger generation stressed constantly. Like I listened to that 121 Pilots song, Stressed Out, and that hit me. But sex really, it gets rid of stress. Go have kids. The whole world will be fine. Maybe we're the ones who aren't listening.
just Jack's face right now is killing me. He's just so like, yes, indeed.
I'm like trying to like, I'm thinking about this, right?
Very, very interesting. Maybe I should get out and get laid.
They're saying that, oh, this kid's insane, but the other half's like.
Here's what I think. I think that has nothing to do with it. I think that's an amazing. I think that's an amazing theory, and it's fucking hilarious, and it's like super jokes. But for the record, it's just all about money. Like it's really like everything just comes right back to money, and it's like
it's having
more people doesn't mean more money. More people does not equate to more money. More like things equate to more money. So like, what's gonna happen when like the education system falls apart? No one knows how to build a fucking house anymore. Like all of a sudden, there's no new houses being built. What are you gonna spend all your retirement fund on? What are you gonna put a down payment for? Like you literally, like there's nobody out there who knows how to put a nail in a piece of wood properly without it fucking up over the course of like a year, and then it just breaks.
There is a grain of what you're saying I agree with, actually. I feel like trades are more valuable now than people realize because fucking millennials are lazy as shit. Like that's not a secret.
No, I agree.
Shit. The go-getters, the ones who will do like the manual labor and like have strong trades that they can teach and like do well at and like manage, will fucking go farther than most of us. Like not easier, but like without college, because I feel like those are just not being inherited as much as they used to because people don't want to do it. Like people don't want to go out and, like you said, build the houses and dig the ditches.
That's already a problem in my area.
That's what I mean.
Too, like with housing, because renovations is why they're more expensive now, or not even worth it to flip your home because there's not enough people. There's not enough contractors or architects that are out there working on these sort of things. There's a shortage of them. So it's more expensive and less of it is getting done. Then you have the housing crisis because homes aren't getting built. So like what you were saying, this is already a problem. It's going to continue to get worse.
Yeah, exactly. And more people just makes it worse because then the demand rises with no supply. So like, I really don't think that it has anything to do with like raising the population or anything like that. If anything, like the rise in population is like, if any, like more than anything, a bad thing. Like it's contributing to like overall general unhappiness within the population. Like the average person with depression is skyrocketed comparatively to the way they were before. And I do agree with you that like having a healthy relationship is like the number one way to stay happy, and like number one way to like get out of like a depressive state. And the number two thing that's actually even more it's almost more important, I would say, is having like a good job, like having like something to wake up to every day and anticipate, and like to occupy your time while also making you happy. Like a job like that is 1 in a million. And like I know what it's like to have a really shitty job that I fucking hate. And it was like for like the last almost year, I was working on playtesting Fortnite, and I fucking hated it. I hated every fucking minute of it. There was like moments where I could just like blank out and just like play the game and be like, and appreciate for the fact that it's a game. But like after playtesting that game for over a year, I just didn't give a shit about it. Like I had already been done with the game since I stopped doing YouTube, because I had went on a brief stint of filming YouTube videos, and I was like, I'm done. I can't, like, I never want to play this game again. And then like between projects, because like right when I joined the company, they were like switching me around on a lot of different projects to sort of find my place. And they saw that I was really good at Fortnite, so they're just, oh, stick him here. And I'm there, and I'm like, shit, man, maybe I shouldn't have flexed on them so hard in like those in-house games, because now they think that I actually play the game at home, and they actually think that I like it. And all of a sudden, I'm on progression team for like the single-player mode, and like that's just a never-ending nightmare for me. And I was so depressed at the end of it all. I was like, I've got to get out. I've got to get out of this. I got to get out of this fucking project. And then I tried to switch pods, which wasn't the project. So it was a different. I was playing like a different version of the game essentially. I was like, this is bullshit. It's fucking worse. I have to get out of here. And I realized that there was another project that my company was doing where it was actually a game that I'd been playing for almost 20 years. Almost 20, no, actually literally 20 years I've been playing this game, almost my entire life. And I like fought really, really hard to get onto that project. And now that I'm there, I'm like, this is a joke. I'm getting paid for this? Like, I'm seriously getting like minimum wage, like daily, just to like play this game that I love and like help build it. And like, this is insane. Like, this is a dream come true for me. And like that whole mindset just completely completely stems from having a job that you enjoy doing. And it's invaluable. Like there's no, it's something that I think that everybody should prioritize in their life. And like the number one way of doing that is to just go out and do things. You just have to always be like looking for your new passion and like your new hobby, and then just look back on your life and try to see something that there's always been something that was consistent. There was always one thing that you liked doing, but you never had the time for it or something, or the money for it or something. Make that your job. Just make that your job. Just like find a way to turn that into how you earn your living. And it's like some people already have that. And some people don't. And some people don't know how to find it. And like the best way that I could describe it is just always be moving forward. Just never stop moving. If you become complacent with what you're doing and you become satisfied with where you are, that's a trap. That's a trap, and you should watch out for that. Because even now in my job, I don't feel complacent. I feel like I'm always moving. I feel like I'm always doing stuff, and I'm always moving on from the next thing to another. And I'm trying to like amplify how I work and like what I'm doing in my job, and I'm always trying to go for the next level. It's not just, oh, I'm happy here, let me just hang around for a little bit. That's a trap. You should watch out for that. If ever you find yourself in like the same routine all the time, and it's just like the situation that you're in and nothing's changing, try to get the fuck out as soon as possible, because letting it like fester and letting it build up after a long time, there's some people that can't handle that, and they'll just let it go on forever, and next thing they'll just waste their life, and it's terrible. It's like the way that it works is, if you're spending your life doing something miserable to earn money so that you can continue on with your life doing something miserable, then that's just stupid. Just do what you want to do and forget the money. Just do what you want to do with your life and move on for that, and forget about being rich and famous. Forget about having $1 million house. Just be happy with what you have and try to like stick to that. And like, that's like the best advice that I can possibly give anybody. I don't know.
Well, there's a different, yeah. I agree to a good amount of that, but there's another point to that where I think one of the things that humans get the most excited and happy about is a thing to look forward to. That's why we're so, like, a lot of Twitch streamers, like we're on Twitch right now. One of the things that we love talking about are plans, things that we're going to be doing in the future. I don't agree that a happy job is necessarily equating to a happy life. I think that when you have a happy job, it gives you something to look forward to tomorrow. Like, it makes you eager and excited to go to your job the next day. And I think that if you have like a job that doesn't make you happy, prioritizing other things, like things that happen before or after your job, just something else to make you look forward to the next day happening, I think that can have just the same effect. Not to say that having a job that you hate isn't gonna obviously make you sad and in a rut, but like, I think the bigger picture is giving yourself something to look forward to the next day. I think that's what people really think and dwell on a lot. Because I think when you have something to look forward to, like a plan's going to happen tomorrow, like say, you know, it's Wednesday, you got to go to work at a job you hate, but tomorrow's Thanksgiving. Like it's not happening today, and you still got to get through your job. But like your job, I think, suddenly becomes a little bit more tolerable because you have this giant event, this wonderful thing that you're looking forward to happening tomorrow. So it just makes that job a little bit more bearable to get through. You know?
Holy
Hugh
shit.
Lavier, thanks for the $20 donation. Never stop with these podcasts.
Never stop these podcasts.
Yeah, that's right. Hey man,
Holy shit.
no worries, man. Yo, I'm gonna keep this going as long as I can. I don't care. This is fun. See what you just described, Pete?
Thank you.
The whole anticipation factor where you really want to like look forward to something and just like truly like have that be your goal, and like everything else in the way is just like it's almost an obstacle for you to get through, and it's like a mountain you have to climb to get to the peak. I find like this podcast in a way is like my weekly thing of just like I'm getting through the week, but it's like for me I'm not even just getting through the week, because like I said, like I'm enjoying every day for what I do. It's amazing. And just having this podcast be like the cherry on top of just like I can put in like as much work or as little work as I want into this, and it's always going to have a result at the end. And like I want to know, like I want to make that a good result, you know? Like I let Jack take the reins on this project for a little bit just to get it off the ground. And honestly, I can't thank you enough for that. I seriously want everybody in chat right now to go over to his Twitch channel right now and follow it. You have to go to his Twitch channel right now and follow it right now. So link your Twitch, and everybody just go and you just, because he streams as much as he can. He streams like every day almost. And he needs the viewers to like keep him going, because his whole fuel, all his fuel is basically chat. Like he talks to chat constantly. So if you guys ever have questions and you want someone to talk to, he's always going to be there for you. And like he's always going to be playing these cool niche games that are like 20 years old, 20, 30 years old, you've never seen before, and they all got these crazy styles, and it always looks super entertaining. So go follow him right now. Like literally just click the follow button.
I want to throw up.
Dude, Jack was sitting there like,
just because
a number just said, I got my social blades just going. Hey, we stand a supportive host.
Until you actually follow him, it's going to be hard to see his content. So, I mean, besides being on this podcast itself, which I mean, like I said, like he did a lot of the heavy lifting at first, which was like getting the channel set up, getting all the PNGs and stuff, getting like the groundwork set out, and that is like truly like I can't thank him enough for that. So now that we have like all this infrastructure down, there's really nothing stopping us from just like making as much content as possible. So that's why I'm really looking forward to this. Like every week, like I'm always trying to get a new guest on, and like even if it's going to be like a guest from like a week before or whatever, that's no big deal. But like once people have been on the podcast, they don't expect to be on it like right away. So like I want to keep the chain of guests coming. Like Pete, you're welcome back on the podcast anytime. You know that, right?
I'd love to be a part of it. This is actually the first podcast I've ever been a part of. I was going to leave that until an hour in so I could surprise you. But
that's well, it's been an hour, man. It's been an hour.
Thank you for
I'm very surprised, and I'm honored.
Brother.
I'm honored, man. Honestly, it's a surprise that no one's wanted to do a podcast with you before. You've got like the perfect podcast voice, and like you're.
I am kind of a slut for your voice, PeteZahHutt. I'm not gonna lie.
I was going to create so we can show the FTC who's boss.
That's right. What are we marking this VOD for, kids or not for kids?
I'm gonna put it as not for kids.
Yeah, not with a voice like that. Know what I'm saying, dog?
Do ourselves spend the 42 grand on a honeymoon.
Chat, that was like completely unprovoked. Thanks, Matt. That was super wholesome. What the fuck?
No, dude, I got you, man. I got you.
Thanks, man.
You deserve it. You definitely deserve it, man. From coming all this way and like all this time spent and everything you've been through, you definitely deserve these golden eggs coming your way, and like you just need them. You just need them in your life, because it's gonna keep you going, man. It's gonna keep you motivated, and I really think that that's like the number one thing, because like I hate seeing you like being down, because I'm like, you're my partner in this. I don't want to just have somebody like who's like, oh, I don't know if this is worth my time, or if like I don't know if I've got the energy for this. It's like it's truly just like a natural thing. Like this isn't an interview. This is not like a professional thing that we're doing. Like I don't want to just have a podcast where it's like, we have a list of questions for you. Here's what's going on. It's like, fuck that. That's so boring. Like this is supposed to be just like natural like conversation from one topic to the next, and like that's what a podcast should be about. It's about easy listening, and it's amazing.
I was watching You had linked me the podcast with Zach. You literally started off the podcast by yelling at Jack saying, "Hey, we forgot the list. We got to delay it like 5-10 minutes."
Oh yeah, no, I got the list right here this time. I got the whole list, dude. Look, there's like 6 things on the list. You see? He's got 6 things. You can see the whole list right there. We're not gonna get through fucking half of it. We're not gonna get through half of it, dude. Literally the first thing on my list. Look at this. First thing on my list. His channel. His channel, first thing on my list. Pete, your channel. What is going on with it? And that spurred like a one.
COPPA,
Yeah, exactly. And that's it. We're an hour later. We're still talking about it. We're not even gonna get to PC culture. The third thing is Drunken Stories, which I think I'm the only. I could cover that for you guys. I'm not sure if either of you have many of those stories yourselves.
Well, thank God I've deadass never been drunk before, so don't even get me started.
I was only drunk like
right over it.
Like I've only drank like I can count on one hand how many times I've drank. I can tell a. Now this sounds like a sleazy story at first, but it's not. But I can tell you about the first time I had to go to a strip club, and I say had to, not willingly.
Was it like a bachelor party? I'm down to hear this fucking story though.
Oh no!
I'm gonna spectate and drink my Kool-Aid. I'm good.
Yeah, let's hear this.
Go on right ahead.
All right, so once upon a time, my father, we'll call him Mr. Jackpot. He was not in a great place in his life. He drank a lot. He pretty much was in a phase when I was younger, where it was pretty much, go to work, come home, sleep in the chair, or he's at the bar, or he's in the chair sleeping, hungover. Right? And that's kind of rinse repeat. Right? Love this man to death. He's past all this now. It's the only reason I'm telling the story because he's not this person anymore. He has gotten away from it. But so. He had lost his license because he had wrecked his truck drunk driving, which again, no good. No one got hurt, thankfully. It's, it is what it is. So he lost his license for a year. So when I turned 16, I basically how kids are always like, I have to get my license. Like I literally had to get my license at 16 because my household did not have a way to drive. Right? So basically, he doesn't have a license. People are taking him everywhere. So I have to take him everywhere and yada yada. So one night, it's a school night. Dad's not home. He's off doing whatever. Like I just needed to go to bed for school. I get a call from my dad saying, "Hey, I need you to come pick me up." And I'm like, "Okay." Meanwhile, this is like I don't know, like 2, 3 in the morning, something like that. And I was like, "Okay, well, where are you? Are you far? Like, what's happening? Like, I was so confused because how'd you get there if you don't have a ride back?" But it was like, it's my dad. So what are you gonna do? He goes, "Well, I'm at the strip club," and I'm just like, Okay. I can wait outside for you. Is that cool? Like, can I pull up and I'll call you again and you come out? He goes, yeah, that'll work. It's like, okay, sick. So I get there. I get the address and I get there, and I call him, doesn't answer. Call him again, doesn't answer. And I'm like, well, fuck. I can't. I can't go in, but I need to go to school tomorrow. So what do I do? So I'm like, okay, maybe I can crack the door open and holler for someone, because I don't want to get in trouble.
You're a tall guy. You could have just beasted it in there, man. Honestly.
Yeah, I guess, but I didn't want to get him in trouble, and I didn't want to get in trouble because I didn't know the rules of engagement of how this shit works.
You would have freaked out. That would have been fucking.
Oh, we're not done yet. So so when you walk in, you can't see anything, right? There's no the goods are not visible when you walk right in the door, right? You have to walk in, take a corner, yada yada. So. I peek in, and this woman who kind of checks people in, drink tickets, lets them into the real main area. I was like, stop me. Yeah, whatever. She's a bartender. This chick was actually a bartender.
Okay.
But yeah, she was she was basically a bartender. She literally looks at me. First thing she says is, "How old are you?" I was like, I'm 16. She's like, you're not allowed to be in here. She can get in trouble.
Yeah.
Right? It's not good. I'm like, listen, I'm sorry. I don't want to be here either.
I'm here to pick up my dad.
Yeah, I'm literally just here to pick up your dad.
16-year-old me.
Yeah, 16-year-old me. I'm just here to pick up my dad. She just looks at me like, what? I'm like, I'm just here to pick up my dad. And fucking A. So
don't stop now. Keep going.
I'm not stopping
the good
now.
part.
I'm not stopping now. But basically, she goes, "Okay, what's his name?" And for the sake of covering my dad's ass, it's just Mr. Jackpot. Is he in there? And she just goes, "Oh, him?" And I'm like, "Oh, I thought you were that reaction." Come to find out, at the time, everybody in this place loved my dad. He was a real just guy that they all just loved.
Lucrative.
Just really loved just hanging him out. Just hanging out with him. He just came and chilled, was nice to everybody, and spent a fair amount of money. He was single at the time, so it's fine. And she was just like, "You want to come in and get him?" And, like that's how on a dime this changed once she realized I was his kid. Very much just like, "Oh, you're his son. Yeah, come on in." I'm like, "What the fuck? What is happening?" So like I find like he's basically like he's sitting up like near the stage, like drunk off his ass, like rocking, like trying to keep himself upright. Oh. My dad is fucking plastered, and I'm just like, I have school in like 4 hours. I don't want to fucking be here, dude. Like, come on. So like, I'm in the main area where like, you know, the business is out and it's like what you're here to see, and I'm just like trying to like look down and like look at my dad.
It's
and
like illegal if you look.
Right, like I'm like not trying to like cause problems for people.
You're gonna go to jail.
That's what I'm saying. Like oh man, it was bad. So like I'm walking up to him and then like I'm like I go up to him like shake him. I'm like, "Dad?" And he doesn't respond. I'm like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Dad." And he looks at me. He puts his arm around me. He goes, "What do you say, bud?" And I'm like, "We don't have time for this, Dad." Literally, I'm like trying to get him up, and like one of the girls walks over, and he just goes, "Hey, fucking Candace, this is my boy. This is my oldest boy." She goes, "You're his oldest boy?" And I'm like, "Oh, she knows you. Cool. Now she knows me. Okay. Well, this is sick."
This nightmare is turning out to be really realistic.
Like, it was so fucking, like, and he's just, like, trying to be chummy, and I'm just like, "Hi, nice to meet you." And then the girl was like, "Hey, Stacy, this is his oldest boy." And I'm like, "Oh, my fucking God, this is not real."
You're gonna be doing shots with them, you know?
Like, this was just, like, a worst, like, nightmare scenario. And I'm just like,
complimentary lap dance.
"Dad, we have to go." And then at first, they were like not really getting the fact that like the time it was on like my age and stuff, and they were just like, "Don't you got school tomorrow?" I'm like, yes I do. That's where I need to be." Like, and then eventually like kind of like got them on my side where they're like, "You all seem nice," as I try to keep eye contact, and I'm just like, I just need to get him to my car. Like that's all I need, right? Can you guys like kind of help me out here? And they were like, "All right, Mr. Jackpot, like let's come on, we need to get you home. Your boy's here to take you home." And I was like, "Oh, thank God they're on my side." And even then, though, he was like fighting me. He was just like not having it. He
called you though, right? Like
he did call me, but he must have either got more drunk between that phone call when I got there, or once I was there, he just got like comfortable because I was there. But the story's not
that you had the focus until like you going into a strip club underage and you see your dad just like fucking knocked out like the front of the stage, and your only thought is, "I gotta get to school in 4 hours."
I had to grow up quick. We'll just leave it at that. I'll tell that story another time. But like I kind of had to get with the program about stuff at a young age.
That was like podcast -1 where you explained that.
Yeah, we'll get to that again.
Got on board with that. Yeah, we'll get to that eventually.
Yeah. But basically, the story's not done. So my dad was a pretty heavy set guy at the time. So like, I'm like 6 feet tall, like 130 pounds at the time. Like I couldn't gain weight to save my life. Like I have no strength in me. Like I'm having these strippers and a bartender help me. My dad's also like 6 feet tall. Like we're basically all like around him, like arm in arm, trying to walk him to my fucking car.
Not his proudest moment.
A visual of 6 foot 130. Hello, imagine me trying to lift out a heavyset guy out of anyway.
My dad was like 350 pounds. Like my dad was like, he was not in a good spot at the time.
I'd probably die.
Yeah, it was no good. So we get him to the car, and I'm like, "Hey, thank you so much." And they were just like, "Oh, it was nice meeting you. Come back." And I'm like, "Give me 2 years, then maybe, but not no. Okay." So they were nice, and it was just very awkward. So then I end up taking him home. We get him home, and I'm just like, it's like fucking 4 a.m, and I have school in like 3 or 4 hours. Like I need some sort of sleep. I'm gonna fucking die. So like I get out of the driver's seat and I open the passenger seat. I'm like, "Come on, Dad, let's go. We'll get you inside." He goes, "I'll be in," and I'm like, "No, let's go inside, Dad." And he was just like, "Oh no, hey, I got it. I'll be in." I'm like, I'm done for the night. Okay, I trust you. You'll be in, right? Like he's got it. He'll come in." So I go in, get like whatever sleep I can. All right, I get up like as late as I possibly can to get ready for school. And like I brush my teeth, get ready, do my hair, yada yada, and I go out there. My fucking dad slept in the car all night, and he's fucking out. My dad is like a fucking bear out, and like I need to take this car to school, and it's like I need to go to school. My drunk, hungover, like dead asleep father's in the passenger seat. I can't bring him with me, and I can't lift him out. Like, what the fuck do I do? Like, I didn't know what to do.
Cup of water, face.
I was literally like in a panic because it's like this has been the most stressful like 8 hours like on a school day fucking possible, and I'm just like, what the fuck happens now? So I'm like, all right, I just hope he doesn't wake up swinging. I literally start my car and just fucking honk the horn.
Nice.
I'm like, you gotta go inside, Dad. You just gotta. He woke up like super pissed off. He was like, what the hell was that for? And I'm like, that you gotta go inside. Like, he's like, what time is it? I'm like,
it's time for you to go inside.
Please go inside, Dad. Just please.
It's time to stop.
He goes inside, and like he like is muttering like drunkenly and like has to get up, go inside. He fucking walks himself inside. My brother walks out because I mean he's like 3 years younger than me. I take him to school, and he goes, "What was all that about?" I was like, "Don't worry about it. Nothing. Don't you worry, kid." Like I just didn't want him to fucking have to know it all, and. Then I went to school. I fell asleep in 2 different periods. Came home, and yeah, that was the story. Man. And it was a doozy.
That's a wild ride. And you haven't been back to the strip club since. That's definitely scarred you.
No, I did end up going back only because my dad. When I turned 21, like I don't really drink. I just don't. It's not for me. But like I feel like my dad really wanted to do the whole like take his son out for first beer. Not first, but like, take him out for his first legal beer thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mainly said yes and agreed to it more for him than myself. So like we went to a couple bars and then went to the
when you were 16. You remember when you brought me home? We're gonna go right back over there. Happy 21st, little kid.
I don't think my dad even remembered that night, honestly. But yeah, the bartender remembered me. It was the same woman after like 5 years, and yeah, it was none of the Candace or whatever the fuck her name wasn't there, so that was nice. But yeah, otherwise it was okay. But yeah, that was just a small crumb of some of the dumb shit that went on when I was growing up.
Damn, dude. Like I don't know if I would call it dumb shit. I would say that it's like it's just crazy, like that's just a wild like story.
That's like an episode of Friends.
Yeah,
or like How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Like that's like a sitcom level. Like that's like two and a half men. Like Jake has to go get fucking
that's a good
Charlie at the strip club. He's just too drunk, and he's just that's what I just pictured like the whole time. And,
it was interesting to say the least.
Yeah. See, I was always into drinking because of the social aspect for it. Like, I always hung out with like very, very liberal guys, and they were just like very much like the we do what we want or we do nothing sort of thing. Like it's very like take control of your own life. Don't let somebody tell you what to do sort of thing. Like, don't try not to waste your time living someone else's life and try to spend your time living your own life. So like that is like one of the best mantras for like drinking for me is just like it really lets you just experience like zero control in your life, just like completely cut loose and just like watch what happens, just see the fallout. You become a spectator at that point. Instead of being like the star of your own show, you're a spectator, and you just like see what goes on, and like you basically just react to every situation. You don't have like a plan for everything the here and there, and it's like everything always goes wrong. There's always something that goes wrong, but like you look back at it and you're like, I learned from that. Like we have those memories now. Like we see what we've done, and like we see the mistakes that we make, and like we try to make up for them, and it's like that. Then it's even more like down the line. Like just recently I got so drunk at a bar, and I got so stoned, and I smoked so much nicotine from vapes, like the nicotine vapes, that I ended up getting like mad nicotine poisoning. Like I haven't smoked a vape since then, and I was throwing up like crazy in my friend's kitchen. And I was so fucked up at that point that I literally couldn't clean it at all. So like they're just as fucked up as I am, except none of them got sick. So they have to clean up my shit. And it's like, that is such a bad look for me. And I hated it because like I'm just there on the couch dying. And they're the ones that are cleaning up my sushi mixed with beer and like nachos puke. And like, it's like I have to make up every time I'm at his place. Like he treats me like shit now. So it's like, fuck, I really got to make it up to this guy. And like, I think I'm going to
sushi and nachos. What were you fucking?
Yeah, what the was it? Just whatever was close, like within arm's reach.
I can't think of two opposite taste palettes in my life,
dude.
You got a delicacy and a fucking like Toys R Us meal.
No, you guys don't have good nachos then. Shit, like the nachos the nachos you're thinking. The nachos that you're thinking of right now are probably those fucking cardboard with the melted plastic on top that you get at like arenas.
What do you
and, like,
put on your
sports
nachos? What do you put on your nachos?
Like
what was on these?
Like green peppers, onions, red peppers, some like mozzarella cheese, some cayenne pepper if I'm feeling it. The list goes on, man. I could put whatever I want on my
delicious,
nachos.
But fucking sushi.
That was for lunch.
Okay,
Sushi for lunch, and then nachos for like dinner. And like with dinner, like you have a couple beers or whatever. So like that was like such a poor chosen moment for me to just be at my worst. And it's like I've been in that situation so many times where I'm just like I just completely lost control and I just like completely like gave it like too much. Like I just pushed a little too far. And looking back, it's like it's made me like it's just made me like more conscious of like what I'm able to do and like what I can consume and everything. And it's like in these social situations where it's like everyone's hanging out, everyone has a beer. It's like it's a lot easier for me to just chill, have a beer, not think about it. Same thing with like having a joint or something, just smoking. Like it's no big deal. It's like a background substance. And it's
growing up with the example I just gave, I had the reverse to where that shit just stresses me out. Because a lot of it's just for me, it's just like, man, if I don't drink a lot, then I feel like I'm not getting to that like easy point, that easygoing point. And if I drink too little, then like what's the point if I'm not going to feel anything from it? And for me, it's just like, man, what is like, I don't want to sit here and limit test on other people's like time. But like with you had it to where you sounds like you limit tested a lot. Yeah. And you threw up and you may have a little resentment for that, where it's just like me, it's just like I don't want to be in that position to be like out of my own head, out of control of my body, and so on, so on. The other thing too is because I'm usually the one who's sober, a lot of times I don't go to social events people are drinking because I am basically obligated out of my own like morality to be babysitter, DD, like take care of people, which I don't mind doing, but it eventually
you don't need that responsibility. You don't need that.
Right. It eventually just kind of wears on me where it's just like if anything goes wrong with these idiots, like, and I just let it happen, like I'm gonna fucking not be able to like.
Yeah, you are babysitting a bunch of other people at that point.
So a lot of it to me, exactly. And to me, like I grew up babysitting my dad half the time. Well, not half. Well, I shouldn't say half the time, but like there were a lot of instances where like I basically had to be the parent for my dad. And it's just like I had to do that so young that like now that I'm an adult, it's just like I don't really have the desire to get fucked up and drink. I don't have the desire to get like tipsy. I don't have the desire to babysit. So it's just like I don't know, a lot of it, like every time I'm near that kind of social situation, it just kind of stresses me out to where like I'm gonna go home and play League of Legends. Like you guys hit me up later. I'll be on Discord. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just rather do that.
Millennials aren't partying. Millennials aren't having sex. It all.
They're not consuming our death drug alcohol. They're not consuming our death sticks, cigarettes anymore. Like,
I have a girlfriend. Let's calm down.
When is booze gonna go down the road of cigarettes, where it's just like highly stigmatized and like not social at all to do it? Because like I feel like alcohol already is an insanely dangerous drug. Like I feel like
advertising
too many times
than weed, and weed's getting legalized right now, but you don't see any alcohol getting taken off. You know, like alcohol being made illegal.
I think it's because
weed is now suddenly like fine to use because people are realizing, oh, it's actually a lot more moderate than this thing we serve at almost every other corner of every major city.
Right.
I think a lot of it has to do with marketing and advertisement. There's so many different rules for what you can and can't do for smoking tobacco versus alcohol, to where you can't really glorify smoking cigarettes like on marketing and advertisements so much as you can like, oh man, look at this party, look at this Super Bowl shindig, like look at all the beer around, people are holding it, people are happy, like people, as long as like it stays how it is, people will have the vision of like,
I don't think it's gonna happen.
Right, like this
I
is
don't think so
synonymous
either.
with party, happy-go-lucky, and until like something was to ever change with like how they can market that, it's probably never going to change.
No, it's never
There's
gonna
just too much
change.
money. There's too much money in it. Like, straight
Well,
up.
that's what they said
Glass
about
is
that's what they said about
mostly- yeah.
tobacco, but like it's just it's really like interesting because like what really was the thing that took down big tobacco, and like it's just interesting. I think it was a mix of like the pollution, like the environmentalists and like the health people. I don't know, but like something really took them
I
down,
think-
and I think it's a
think
good
the
thing.
thing
I
with,
think that's a good thing.
With alcohol being social is that people are already like, all you have to do to drink is just hold a glass and like share a drink with people, right? Like you're sitting at
Yeah.
a bar or you're sitting at a table, yeah, like tip a
easy.
wine glass or you take a jug. But like the thing is, when you go to a restaurant, even if you're underage, you get a drink of something. That is just a standard function
Yeah.
that human beings are used to, is holding glass. That's
Right.
another topic I could get into. Nice glass. I mean, you have like bongs and other things with smoking that, you know, those could be expensive, but there's also a market for glassware in alcohol as well too. These $100
I
glasses
guess.
that are so expensive that you can buy, that's a whole other market. But it's like it's so social because everyone does it. You can do it at a restaurant, but smoking's not the same. You don't smoke anywhere outside of like wherever like
It's
a
not
smoking
natural.
area would be.
It's
Yeah.
not natural. It's not a natural habit. So like yeah, I could definitely see that.
Plus,
being
the other thing
case.
too with smoking versus drinking is like a lot of people, like a lot of the not argument, but a lot of the common sentence is, you know, oh, drinking is okay in moderation. Drinking's okay, like as a social thing, right? And that's fine, you know, however you want to feel about that. But the thing is, like, I feel like there's actually zero benefit to smoking cigarettes, like tobacco and nicotine, where like people can justify small amounts of drinking. Small amounts of smoking is just
No,
bad,
no.
you know?
The way that it works with cigarettes is that once you get into the habit of it, without a cigarette you feel like shit. So then they justify it by saying, "Oh yeah, whenever I smoke, I feel good." It's like, yeah, that's just because you smoked
Your
in the
body's
first place.
tricking the fuck out of you and demanding a lot more oxygen than what it
Exactly.
really needs. Like,
It's like this is a demand that your body created for itself. It's not something that you need. And
Right.
like with weed, it's different. Weed is just like it's for fun, you know. Like
Right, like,
it's-
I'm
and it's-
out
and
of the
it's- and
loop.
it's therapeutic. It's therapeutic because it like it like gets you out of your own mind. If you're like ever worried about something, or if you're like got a lot of time that you have to spend somewhere and like you're just bored, I guess. It's super nice to just kick back, relax, and just smoke a bit of weed. It's just that I can't sleep when I do it, so I try not to smoke that much anymore. But
I just don't have like a leg to really stand on in the conversation with weed, just because like I've never smoked weed, like I have no clue.
I haven't either, but
And
you know,
it's just one of those things where like I'm aware of it and I have a better mental of it now. Like before, I think I've told this before on the podcast, but like when I was younger, I was that guy who was like, if you smoke weed, you're dumb. What are you doing? Like I was that kid in high school. But then I got over that. Just like, as long as they're not fucking hurting anybody, they're fine.
Yeah.
And then the more I learned about it, it's like, okay, well, it's probably not great to put smoke in your lungs, but at the same time, it's like it's not nearly as bad as what other things are, like, you know, like tobacco,
Alcohol.
like straight, yeah, like
Yeah, like
alcohol, like
alcohol.
tobacco.
Yeah.
And I learned more about it. I was like, yeah, as long as no one's getting hurt and they're fine. Like that was
Which
just my take
people-
on it.
mostly don't. I was the same way as you. I grew up living in a bubble, so I thought if you smoked, like you were like, you know, a rebel kid or like a,
Right.
you know, just not a good person generally. Very quick to
Right.
judge. But then I realized as I got older, I'm like, wait a minute, has this really ever harmed anyone? And then I started learning about, you know, like medical reasons why you would use it, and that's another thing too. You can't prescribe alcohol, to my knowledge. I could be pretty
No.
wrong right now, but I don't.
No.
What
You know,
the
you know,
fuck?
they
Alcohol
prescribe
has a medical purpose.
they
to make you
prescribe
actually
alcohol
feel
to
better.
wounds. Pouring
Yeah, like
alcohol over an
100%
open wound. That's what you use
100%
alcohol.
alcohol,
Wait.
yeah.
Yo, you just flipped my world. That's why. Well, I need a second. Continue talking. I need.
That's
a
why
second.
your fucking
So-
like kidneys die. It like clears out everything in your kidney.
No, but people always say that they drink to wash away the sadness, but that's the purpose of alcohol, to wash away the wound.
The pain.
Yeah, it
People
helps you
turn-
forget.
Literally,
It helps you
you're
forget.
drinking a form of numbing the pain.
It helps you forget. That's what it truly comes down to. All those mistakes you made, all those things that you did in your life that you fucked up, and something that happened where you don't want to think about it anymore because it's just weighing on your mind, and it's just time cures all wounds. All you need to do is just give it some time. And if the time is spent just thinking about that, then you need to like distract yourself with something. And video games and like watching YouTube and like watching TV or whatever, sometimes it doesn't do the trick. Sometimes it doesn't last.
You're not watching the right fucking YouTube.
Sometimes it really just takes like going out with your buddies and like talking about random shit and like getting drunk to really like let it all out and just like really like just try to like forget about it all. Like I could tell you guys about.
Oh, sorry. Someone in chat said alcohol was prescribed to make people want to eat. Oh, I could see that. I guess like if somebody's.
I thought that was weed.
Yeah, I thought that was weed.
I mean, probably.
Alcohol makes you want to eat.
Well, the thing is, okay, listen, it's a mind-altering substance. Any sort of like condition that you have is going to be affected by alcohol or weed in some way or another. No matter what, just because it's a mind-altering substance, it's going to change something about your condition. And if in some ways, if you're like not like bulimic or anorexic, I guess those are eating disorders and they're good examples. If getting drunk or drinking some more like is going to affect your what's it called? Like
mental?
Psyche? Yeah, well, yeah, it's going to affect your psyche and it's going to help you forget like all this stigma about, oh yeah, you have to be skinny, you have to look good, it's going to help you forget about that. And now it's like all of a sudden you can just like have some more pasta, or you can like have that chicken that you like, and it's like you don't have to think twice about it, you don't have to limit yourself. So then it's like I mean, I could see that being a little bit of the case, but it's still like
it gives you that like
a more like underlying problem that you can't just like.
It helps you with justifying eating if you have a problem with it, because I feel like it gives you like a leg to stand on if you struggle with eating, to where it's just like, well, I don't want it. Alcohol / the weed is making me hungry, so I guess it's okay. And eventually that might help you break the habit of like holding yourself hostage from eating.
Exactly.
If you lean on it and quote unquote blame it if you despise the idea of you eating so much. Like that's my like as much empathy as I can in that situation, like understand it.
Just because like I completely understand why you haven't been like drinking or like tried to drink, and like you see alcohol is sort of like something you want to stay away from just because of like how you grew up with your family and like your father's drinking problem and stuff. It makes complete sense to me why you would want to stay away from it, and I think that you should probably continue doing that, or just whatever makes you happy, like whatever it is your decision, just stick to that, because like don't ever let somebody pressure you into like drinking or something like that. Just stick through to like what you believe in, because I definitely think that what you went through is like very, 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 very scarring and like terrifying, and like it's almost like edge case scenario where it's just, this is the worst thing that can happen, and oh shit, like this is the consequence. All of a sudden you don't drink alcohol anymore. That's actually like a great, like some people drink alcohol more when they're in that situation, and I
feel like I could have fallen two ways.
Honestly. Exactly. And it fell on the right side, which is like you definitely you're smart enough to realize that was the direction that you wanted to go in. So,
and for me, like I never really have like the desire or like the hunkering to even like try cigarettes, like even really try smoking weed, or even like partaking in like social drinking. Like I just never have that like, oh man, like everyone's like, I could use a drink. Like I've never really got that. I've never understood that, because it's never really
up around that environment though. Because I feel like a lot of that has to do with social pressures when you're young and naive.
Yes, because everywhere, like every family get together, like my dad and his brother would drink. When like late middle school, early high school, all of my friends started drinking. It was a lot of like, I had like, you do mental gymnastics against yourself, where it's like, well, on one hand, I don't really want to drink, but on the other hand, like I've drank less than 5 times, and it's mainly just to try and be cool and like make sure my friends still want to hang out with me and like invite me to stuff. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, well, on one hand, I don't really want to do this, but on the other hand, like I don't want to not be invited to stuff and like not be in the loop with my friends, and like you do this like back and forth in your head to try and justify one side or the other. And just growing up, basically, where like every social event like my family was at, every like social event my friends wanted to partake in, like it was almost like a prerequisite that alcohol had to be there. And it always just kind of like befuddled me, because people were loud, people were obnoxious, people were angry, people were like, I got to see people like my friends and my family and people I cared about in a way that is not them.
Yeah.
And it really kind of fucked with me, seeing people that like I love and care about like this isn't you. Like, I don't like seeing you like this because it's like you. I don't know. Like, it just kind of fucked me up and made me think more about like
Well, you're a different
this
person.
like this isn't the version of you I want to hang out with. And
Well, you're
like,
not a
I don't.
different person. You're just drunk. But,
Right, like I don't. This isn't the version of you I want to spend time with. Like we can't really hold a conversation. You can't drive. Like you're just gonna get drunker. Are you gonna throw up? Like it's just
They
a
become
bunch
a
of like
liability at that point.
right. And it's like what? Like how much fun am I having? And to me, it wasn't a lot. Like I never really had the romance of alcohol like phase in my life because everywhere I ever went, it was there, and it never really seemed that appealing because people seem to just you get drunk, you almost transform into this other version of yourself. For some people, it can be a looser, more relaxed version, but for a lot, dumb young kids, some of my family, like it was just obnoxious and loud and like short fuse and yeah, and it became very apparent for me growing up that like I don't think this is like my thing, and I always felt weird. I always felt like an outcast because of that, because it seemed to very easily be everyone else's thing, but I
Right.
just never resonated with it.
it really comes down to like basically your situation, like the situation that you're in and the people that you're around with. Because if you never were in situations where you were like comfortable doing that, then for sure you're not going to be comfortable after you've drank. So like
Right.
it's really about what's your mindset going into it. It's like any sort of like drug trip, like it's the same thing with like because that's what it is. It's a drug. It's a mind altering substance. So no matter what, when you have alcohol at your disposal, you're able to like change the way that you think and change the way that you act in ways that are out of your control. And that's part of the experience. That's just part of the experience of just like getting out of your own head, losing control a little bit, having some fun, just seeing the chaos of like what'll happen. And like 90% of the time nothing happens and you just end up like having all these endorphins throughout your body that makes you feel good, and like that's what people shoot for. And like the other 10% is when really crazy shit goes down, and that's the part that we usually remember. And like the 90% where like nothing really happens, that you don't really remember that part as much. And it's actually way easier to remember shit when you're drunk than when you're stoned, for the record. Because like after like smoking weed, like I don't know what happens to you, but like so much shit just gets lost in your brain and you just don't remember anything.
For
And like
me too,
you
it
remember a
was
little
like-
bit. You remember actually no, you remember a decent amount of stuff, but far less than when you're sober, and just a little bit less than when you're
Well,
you're
doesn't
drunk.
that have to do with alcohol making you hyper focused, whereas weed does the exact opposite? It makes you like either focus on everything or not focus on anything.
Yeah,
Or is
yeah.
that reversed?
Yeah, no. With weed, you're very like you're very open minded, and you become like a lot more. I want to say spiritual, but like I've never experienced like the true spiritual trip of just like you're like out in the wilderness, like a mushroom trip or something. I've never done any drug besides weed and alcohol, but I've done a fuck ton of those too. So that's why I don't want to try any other fucking type of drug, because I know that bad shit happens with hard drugs, and I know that I have the type of personality where if I want to do something and I like it, I'm gonna keep doing it. So I don't want to expose myself to that. I'm protecting my own self at this point, which I know that like weed and alcohol is basically they're pretty innocuous, like everybody knows them. Everybody's just like, yeah, that's just something you do. But like I don't want to be the next guy who shows up on Joe Rogan going, yeah, man, I took the fucking spider bite bong rip to the face and I was on cloud 9 for 3 weeks, and like, what the fuck? Like, no, man, like people don't survive that shit. And if they do survive that shit, they're not the same person when they come back. And it's like, I like who I am, like I like having my own internal thoughts, and sometimes they get a bit too loud and I gotta shut them up with some beer or some fucking weed. Like that's just the way I cope with it.
There was a lot of times for like weed specifically when I was still in the phase of like detest it, like damning it, where I was just like, I don't want to be anywhere near this, to where like I would be invited to like, me and a handful of my friends are gonna go over to my friend's house and like play Smash Bros, right? Because who doesn't love Smash Bros, right? And like me and all my friends did, we liked doing round robin and like doing little mini tournaments. Like it's fucking fun. Like I could do it, rinse, repeat for hours, right? And sometimes I do it on stream and get tilted because I lose. But in real life, it wasn't as bad, I promise. But basically, like I was with my friends, and there was about 5 or 6 of us. And we were playing Smash Bros for like 2 or 3 hours, right? And then like another friend shows up, but that like for me they're like an acquaintance, but they're like friends with the majority of the people there. And like he's just sitting there doing nothing. He doesn't really care about playing the game or anything or even really talking. He was basically waiting for us to be done because he wanted everyone to smoke with him. And it was just like, well, fuck, I didn't come here for this. And like this is what this is gonna turn into now. Like everyone's gonna just stop and just do this, and it's just like, well, that's not why I'm here. And like for me,
it's kind of
just
invasive.
Right, and like I just felt like, well, cool. Like for me, like I don't know if I'd look at it the same way now, like as an adult, but when I was like, God, when I was like a young adult like that, I looked at it like, or like young or older teenager, whatever. Like I looked at it like my friends are choosing like weed over like me and like the plans we made together and like stuff, and it was just like, it was another reason like it almost like made it easy to villainize because it's like, cool, we were having fun before. And now everyone all of a sudden needs this to have fun, but like I don't think we do. And like I don't know, like I didn't want to be around it. I don't like the way it smells. Like I don't want to be pressured to do it. So I straight up just left. Like I was just like, all right, this isn't for me, guys. I'm gonna dip. And everyone's like, come on, just stay. And I'm just like, I mean, you guys are just gonna sit around smoking. We're not gonna play anymore. So like I don't want to be here. And I was straight up. I literally looked at them all like, is that the case? And no one would speak up and say no. Like no one would speak up and be like, no, man, I'm good. We can keep playing. Like every single one of them was just like, yeah, I'm done. We're just gonna smoke now. And it's just like, come on, bro. Like I don't know. Like it wasn't even like I'm not that important to where everyone has to like not like everyone doesn't have to like revolve around me and like the things I do and don't want to do. But it just felt so like, fuck the plans, fuck this, weed's here. Let's get high instead. Like it just very much felt like everything we set up to do and like hang out for was just like, go fuck yourself. We're doing this now. Like I don't know.
Do you think it also has to do with it being a social pressure in a different to like, it could have been a different plan, maybe not weed, but like say that guy that was like waiting for the games to finish so he could like, I don't know, some other plan. But if you wanted to get up and leave for that, nobody would be pulling you back saying, come on, just do this. But the social pressure of it being weed, do you feel like that made it more stressful? Like if you left, you'd be viewed in a bad eye?
Yeah, no, because
this guy that was sitting there on the couch, or like wherever it was, saying like, you know, yeah, I'm not gonna play. I'm just gonna wait to smoke. Nobody was telling him likely like, come on, man, just play. Or like, come on, already. Right. You were waiting to smoke. But on the reverse of that, because you didn't want to do the thing that he wanted to do, now you're being pressured. And that, I'm sure causes stress.
It felt so weird to be like, we're all in the circle, right? I guess like we're all in the bubble, and then someone shows up, and then now I'm outside of it. And nobody followed me outside of it. You know, nobody else said no. No one else said, no, I'll just play. Like, everyone's like, I'm done with this. Let's just smoke. And I think that was the thing that bummed me out the most was just like, I don't know. It was a dumb, like, self-conscious thing or a self-confidence thing of just like, fuck, I'm not worth it, right? Like, that's what it felt like, to where I was like, I wasn't worth it over getting high as fuck and dropping plans. Like that's the thing I think it hit me the most about it, and it made it even easier to like villainize weed at the time because it was just like at any moment, no matter what we're doing, like people will drop like a drop of a hat, like they'll choose this instead is what it felt like.
Well, it's very easy as well. This is all coming from another person that didn't smoke, so whenever I went to parties where my other friends were smoking, I was always the oddball out. But like if you take the people that are gaming and say there's other people like maybe cooking in the kitchen, all of these activities can be like crossed. So you could like get up, take a break and go to the kitchen and then involve the people that aren't playing, but they're doing other shit like they're cooking or whatever. Other people that are maybe working on homework or whatever, like doing a bunch of shit. But the second that you have a lot of people smoking, or at least in my cases where I've been around it, it's like you almost feel detached from the entire party at that point. Like it takes
it's you and them.
Where if you are not smoking and everybody else is, suddenly it's almost like you're not involved anymore.
It feels like you got indirectly kicked out. Like it's very much like me versus them all of a sudden, which is like I didn't come here to be put in that situation. You know, I didn't come here expecting to have that like stress and that mentality and that worry. I came here to play games with my friends on the weekend because we don't have school. Like, and my hope is like that was everyone else's, but like that wasn't like enough to them. Like that wasn't like what the fuck am I trying to say? Like that wasn't the plan for them anymore. Just out of like that easily, they were just like, nope, just kidding. We're gonna smoke instead. Like
but
it just became.
Yeah, it also
Yeah.
creates stress too because you know they're not doing it on purpose. You know they're not willingly kicking you out of it. That's why they're pressuring you in a way. Not pressuring. I don't want to act like I'm villainizing anyone or in any
Right.
story situation, but it's like that's why they're like, oh come on, man, because they want you to be a part of it. So the fact that you're stressed out and feel like you're not involved isn't necessarily anyone else's fault.
Right. I mean, the big thing for me was like nobody else out of like 6 people, I wasn't worth enough to just be like, nah, man, I'm good too. Like nobody else, like I wasn't worth saying I'll keep playing games with you. Like I'll do something to keep you here. Basically, is what it felt like. Like having weed there was more important than me being there. Is
I
what
don't
it felt
want to
like.
be that guy and like say that, like if you would have just tried it once, you would totally see where they were coming from, and then you would just be way more okay, and you would see what's going on with their whole thing, and you would be like way more tolerant for it, because that basically just makes me that guy who's just trying to like get you into like trying something that you may not be more comfortable with. And like I'm not about that. I really don't want to be about that. But I know plenty of people who are still within my friend group who just never smoke weed. Like they just don't. And they always come out to the parties and they still like hang out and like they'll get drunk with us and like that's like their alternative, and that they just want to see everybody. They just want to like catch up and hang out. So it's just, I mean, I know a couple of them have tried weed before just because like they're curious and they want to see what's going on with it, and they can see like the whole like culture basically after that, because for you guys it must be kind of weird to look at like the whole stoner culture thing of just like 420 and just
I mean, I think it's funny. Like
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think it's like fucking idiots celebrating 420. I'm just like, they get a day. It's
But like
funny.
the whole like Beavis and Butthead, Cheech and Chong, like that whole stuff of just like it, you basically like, I don't know how to describe it other than you're like purposely limiting yourself so that you can
you want to know the real,
see
you want to know the
see the
reason
world in a new light.
you want to know the reason like when I was young, straight up
And
that
it's not even that dramatic, honestly. It just makes you feel good. Like
So here's the thing. When I was younger, the reason before like now I choose not to do it because like I'm an adult, I can make my own decisions, right? Like I don't have to just autopilot listen to what my parents say, right? The main reason I did not ever smoke weed when I was younger was for one very simple thing, and it's gonna sound like some white knight, like nobody does this bullshit, but it's true. My dad detested it. My dad was fine with alcohol, but he fucking hated it. It's the same kind of thing where like if you do it, you're an idiot. Like
yeah.
I'll kick your ass out, yada yada. Like very overdramatic like view of it, right?
Okay.
I never did it, so I could always look my dad in the face, and if he asked me, I never had to lie to him. I got to always tell him the truth, and I always wanted to have that with my dad and be able to keep that with my dad and be able to tell him yes, and I know I'm not lying, and he knows I'm not lying, and I think
How's
that
that
was.
a white knight thing? Isn't that just honesty?
I mean, honestly, I don't know. Like, kids are shitty. I feel like it's easy. Unfortunately, I feel like it's kids for just to lie to their parents to just be like, no, what do you no? Because they're like, what are they gonna do? Drug test me? They won't do that. Like, I feel like I knew a lot of shitty kids in high school that like had that mental and like would try to just get away with everything. Where at the end of the day, like, yeah, they can believe you, but like you have to live with that. And like, I didn't want to live in a world where like I'm actively lying to my dad, and I always wanted to be able to like say no, Dad, I haven't, because because I never wanted to lie to him. Because honesty was always like a big thing in my house, and I never wanted to lose the ability to tell him the truth. I never wanted to lose the
Yeah.
ability to tell my dad no.
Yeah, that's
I
very it's very like, see, that's why you said like white knight, because I'm gonna say like that's very noble. It's like you're sticking to your values and you really want to, like, that's what you believe in,
Right.
and like I completely agree with that. Like I honestly wish that I could like do that a little bit like more in my life, just because like I find so many times I there and I'm like, I'm not gonna do this today, I'm not gonna do this today, and it's like, oh fuck it, and I end up doing it anyways. And like, or I'm gonna do this, and it's like, oh, I just ended up not doing it. Like today I just wanted to come home and just go running on the treadmill. It takes 15 minutes to run like 2 kilometers for me, so it's like it's like no time at all, but like it's so good for my cardiovascular endurance, and like it's so healthy. But I just didn't do it. I was like, fuck it, Dota patch notes, let's go. And then like well, that's it, right? Like, it's a new distraction.
Yeah.
Here you go. It's like I went and I was watching like the pros play Dota, and I wanted to see what they were doing with the new heroes and stuff, and who they were all playing. And yeah, I just got lost in the sauce. That's really what it comes down to. And it's like you forget what your true values are.
Being able to keep the truth is important to me because I feel like you
Exactly.
can lose it so easy. Like you lose the ability to like live with yourself like without it, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
you
Stick to
you
that.
know
Stick to that.
you know you're lying, right? You have to live with what you know and like what's in your head. And some people can just keep lying to themselves and justifying it in their head and like not feeling bad about it. But like the big thing to me is just like, yeah, I sure got away with it. They don't know any better, but I know better.
I
Like
think that
it's that simple.
yeah.
Like I don't want to lose that.
And if you're a kid, chances are you didn't get away with it, and they do know that you're lying because kids, for the most
Right, my
part, are
dad put the
terrible
fear of
fucking
God in
liars.
me. Like my
Yeah,
dad
yeah.
like scared the shit out of me growing up. And like you can argue like being that kind of like really angry authoritative parent can go one of two ways, either rebellious or like you turn into a yes man. But that's a whole other conversation. I feel like I met somewhere in the middle.
It's like Homer Simpson said it best, you know? Beer, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
For, and a couple hours you fall asleep, you wake up and your problems are still there.
Exactly. And then you just drink some more and then you don't give a fuck.
You're just perpetually hungover and drunk.
Hey, dude, that's what happens. There's so much glorified alcoholism in today's media. Like, holy shit. Like, it honestly turned me off of Archer for a little bit. But, like, I got back to the show just because the writing is really good. But, like, the whole just, like, I'm going to have whiskey at, like, 10 in the morning because I'm fucking the boss.
It looks cool.
You know? Like,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
It's just there. It's like, are you fucking serious? Like, nobody does that. Like,
dude, I can relate
people
to
do
that.
People definitely do that, and I think that I would never fucking do that.
I have 2 instances of smoking cigarettes where like a form of media, like I never still would have done it, but it almost like got to my head of just like, man, they look so fucking cool. Like, would I look cool? There's 2 instances. One is Fight Club. Brad Pitt just like smoking a cigarette looks just cool as fuck. I'm just like, oh my god, like he looks like the coolest dude because he has a cigarette. And
Okay,
2,
fair.
the other one is an anime one. It's Spike from Cowboy Bebop because he smokes pretty frequently, and like he's also like the coolest dude on the planet. And I'm like, god damn. I just like, would I look that cool? Would it make me cool? No, fuck that. Like it's like almost in my head, like they just look cool, and I hate that it looks cool like in certain atmospheres because it gets in your head.
For me,
so I can kind of relate to that.
I get the same feeling when I'm watching like a construction worker or something. If I'm packing,
Go ahead.
Like a what?
Go ahead. What?
A construction worker.
So like you see a man jackhammering some concrete, and you're like, I want to jackhammer some concrete.
No, like if I'm passing like, but yes, and I'm passing I'm passing a construction zone, and I just see like dudes like just like with a cigarette in their mouth. I'm like, this guy's fucking smoking while he's working. Like, what the fuck?
Oh, he gets to like smoke on the job.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Like, look at this dude. And then it's like same thing with like a guy who's driving a tow truck or like a delivery thing. He's just there with a cigarette in his mouth. I'm like, what the fuck? This guy's getting paid and he's just smoking a cigarette.
You know what the other thing is that I think also instilled in me at a young age, like I just don't want to smoke, because like we're all in the age where like some of the younger audience may not even remember this, but like we grew up in the age where like restaurants had smoking sections and then they were just banned. They were no longer allowed. Like we grew up in a phase where like when we're young and impressionable, like, oh, they had this, now they don't. Smoking indoors must be bad. Like your kid brain like rationalizes that, and like if that stays with you, it probably makes you like have that thing in the back of your head of like, oh, smoking is bad. Probably don't do like cigarettes.
I mean,
probably
yeah,
bad.
like cars used to have ashtrays as a selling point. They still have the option now for some models, but like that used to be a selling. Like, yeah, we got an ashtray, by the way. So if you ever want to smoke while you're driving or pull over to the side of the road, like we got you. It's like
that happened so long ago that like younger kids may not even have like been old enough to remember that transition. They never had that like before and after. This must be a bad thing like instilled in them, I guess, in their life.
And then all the movies with like the, antagonists of the people that were always at like the top, they were smoking cigars. So at that point you're seeing like, oh, smoking is seen as a status symbol for like the higher...
boss. Yeah, the bosses always have the cigars, right? Like,
dude, I think even in I gotta go check on this, but like, didn't they have fucking bosses in Toontown fucking smoking cigars?
You might be right.
I swear to God, they did.
I know that in League of Legends they had to remove Graves' cigar because it was potentially going to make it M-rated. Then like 6 years later they just put it back because they were like, nah, it's fine. So like I know shit like that happens too.
Pete, you see this guy's question in chat, by the way? It says, actual question, Pete and Matt. Why'd all of you guys decide to go PG in early 2013? It was a pretty hard transition from the content you were producing. Bit off topic, but I was always interested as to why. And also, why did you disagree with Mitch at the time with the change?
I didn't go PG.
Yeah, I mean,
I think I did it unintentionally. Like 7 of my videos got thrown in the YouTube Kids app, but I never aimed to go PG.
PG
So when you
was like one of those things where it's like, it's not even, it's just so hard. Like, I think I can't really speak for Jerome and Mitch on this part because, like, for me, it was never about like making it big or like making a lot of money or anything like that. It just kind of took off after a while. It was always just a hobby. I was always just like, oh, I want to like play video games. I'm very good at video games. I want to show people how good at video games I am. And like, what happens when that takes off? What happens when there's a niche market that's found with like making Minecraft videos? Oh shit! All of a sudden, Minecraft, it's like you can kind of justify it as like this kid friendly game, and like everybody knows that the market for like kid audience is massive on YouTube. Like it's like one of their biggest things, which is why the thing that they're doing right now with YouTube is so fucked up because like they're losing so much money, and it's like right around the holiday season too, which is crazy. This is the point where everyone wants to advertise. This is the point where everyone wants to be purchasing stuff. And like that kind of took it away from me is the whole like I'm good at video games and I'm also me, you know? I'm just me. I can be myself plus this. And it's like you can come for this and you can stay for me. And that's basically it. And if you don't, I don't care. It's simple as that. Like just there's no I'm not trying to appeal to everybody here. There's no hard feelings if you don't like who I am. I totally understand. There's plenty of things about me that are really shitty. I think that I can be a complete asshole. I make fun of a lot of people sometimes for stuff that I have no right to say. And I think it's mainly because I was like grown up in like a very, very like competitive environment where just basically I was thrust into like competitive hockey at such an early age, and like in the locker room like there's just no holding back when people are dissing each other and like calling each other shit and telling them they fucking hate them and stuff like that, and like all these like, and you literally just have to go because like your dad tells you to, so like you hate these people but you have to go and like you just have to come up with a coping method. And like it was my mom that taught me this, where it's basically don't let them just shit all over you, fight back, you know, like tell them to fuck off, tell them your own insults, and like get back at them for that. And like once I started doing that, I started to get a different reaction from people. I started to get like not see how like I started to not see the same reactions from people when they would try to like just eat me alive with their stupid insults. I would just, if they would say something to me, I would say something right back, and I would try to get them just as good as they got me. And even if I didn't, which I wasn't as good as they were at like dissing them, that I was just like, fuck it, at least I said something, you know, like at least I have that dignity of just not going down without a fight. And that's the way I treat people nowadays, where it's just I won't go so hard on it anymore, but like I like to sort of push people's boundaries a little bit to see what they're cool with, and like sometimes I go a little bit too far and I overstep my boundaries. I think that's like a really rough part about me, because I definitely lose a lot of fans and I lose a lot of respect from that, and especially from like people like that I see on a daily basis. Like just the way that people look at me, I could tell that they don't respect me because of something that I said. And
Right.
I know that in the moment what I said was a joke, but like they didn't take it that way. So
Yeah, perception's hugely different. And I think it's another thing too, because I know you guys specifically, I'm sure a lot of people have, but I know you guys specifically have been asked a ton, like, why'd you go PG? I don't think a lot of people truly remember how bad some of the things were. Like, none of it was horrible, but like, my God, compared to what's tolerated nowadays, I think a lot of it was just maturing and growing up and realizing that like these things aren't okay to talk about, or just don't need to be talked about, or can just be entertained in a more appropriate way.
This has come up almost like for at least a minute or two every podcast since we started, because you're
Right?
absolutely right. Yeah, like when you look at old
such
ASS
a drastic
stuff,
difference.
bad.
It's such a drastic
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, you used to curse and then you simply became a bit more monetizable or family friendly. It is a like night and day flip switch. But I think, to take a different topic on it, why a lot of creators have gone PG, I thankfully, I still think I maintain an audience that was a little bit older than the age, so like around 14, 15, even at the time when I was still younger and going on like the YouTube Kids out, at least the ones that I saw. But I think meet and greets are one of the turning tides for almost every single creator. if you are a raunchy content creator, the second you go to a meet and greet and realize, oh my God, all my fans that are coming here, or a large majority of them, are either with their parents under supervision or just young in general, then it really makes you reflect and think, am I really cursing in front of these people? Like, you have to think about
That's
if
it. That's right.
content that you make, like say you throw an F-bomb out 5 times or whatever, and you talk about topics that are raunchy or whatever, right? If you feel like there's no way in hell I could say that right now in a meet and greet, that's not, you can't do that, right? Like I don't think I'd be comfortable saying fuck like 30 times if I was meeting this fan who's 14, 15, watches my videos every day and they're with their family or whatever, and I don't. But if I did that, I'm like, I don't know. I wouldn't feel comfortable with you watching me.
Because the number is now a face. Like the number is now like a human being, and like
you don't, don't realize that. Twitch chat is one of the things that has I've dealt with that a long time because I've been streaming for nearly 7 years. I see all these usernames and I see all of these faces that come around. They're not the faces, but I see the usernames and they're so frequent. They're around every stream. I know that person, right? But I know them based on a skewed personality and their username.
And like the tone that they use when they type.
It happens every single time. Every time I see if they have a Twitter or like they link me something with their profile picture in it, it's not that I suddenly see them in a different light. It's that I'm reminded, oh, this is a human being. This is another person. They have a face. They have like another life, and they're affected by the content that I create. It's not just a name. It's weird, but that is one of the number one reasons I've heard from other YouTubers in my just a lot of other people have said like, yeah, after meet and greets, I can't imagine making the content that I used to make, knowing that they're listening to that, or that I couldn't say that out loud when I was meeting.
That might have been, honestly, that's actually a huge part of it. I could definitely see that being a factor, actually, because that was right around the time that we started going to conventions, you know? Like for me, like going to a convention like PAX East. Like PAX East was the first convention that I ever went to, and I drove up there with like Rob's friend, and like he just like went off into PAX East, and I like went off to like hang out with like Jerome and Mitch and whatever, and basically just like the whole excuse for PAX East for me was like hang out and party. Like that was it. We were going to meet like all our like our I don't want to say coworkers, but like, you know what I mean, right? Like your content creators that like you know and like you've worked with and like that sort of stuff. Like you can put a face to their name finally, and to meet some more and to socialize and everything. So for me, that was a big part of it. And like I didn't even consider that I would like see any fans. I was like, there's no way someone's gonna fucking recognize me. That's impossible. You know, like that's so stupid. And then it's just all of a sudden there's all these fans that are like, whoa, it's Nooch. Like, can I get your autograph? And I'm there like, oh yeah, cool. You got a pen? Like sure. Like this is cool and everything. And like the more that you see, like holy shit, yeah, these people are young. You know, it like may inadvertently affect your content just because you know that like, hey, maybe like you're not as like untouchable, like badass as you think you are, because I think that was like part of my ego when I was first starting off doing YouTube. I was like, I'm this fucking badass, and like I'm setting world records in Portal, and I'm posting all these sick fucking scores in Call of Duty and Halo and stuff like that, and that's like such a huge part of who I am. And like there's got to be like it's got to be like a bunch of older people who are looking down at me and being like, look at this young whippersnapper being such a beast, you know? No, it turns out it's actually just a lot of like young fans, and like they're just really impressionable, and like they see all that stuff and they're like, oh yeah, you know, I want to look up to you. And it's like, shit, I mean, I didn't even,
you know the best mental
I don't want this.
Sort of, yeah. Like I was there. I was like, this is, I didn't sign up for this. Like I totally respect people who like know how to like weave their way around an audience and like totally like be comfortable with like all of this attention. But like me, I just wanted to play video games and be good at them and like talk about them, and like that was the whole thing.
Yeah.
And like and I had the filter of like my screen to deal with that. And like once the filter's gone, it's a fucking nightmare. You're like, holy shit, there's this crowd of people that are looking at me, and like I haven't experienced this since I was in elementary school.
What you're talking about is there's two sides of it, right? You can either go PG because you're maturing, basically, or go PG because you want to do YouTube as a job. I know that I think a lot of us have turned PG because we're like, oh, this is monetizable. All I can do is for work, right? That's the end of it. Money, job, security, keeping this as a thing that you can do. That's a reason. But another one is like I'm seeing a lot of comments in chat saying like a lot of us older fans just thought you stopped being who you are in a sense. That's so hard because I'm pretty sure a lot of us said some really stupid and bad shit when we were teens that does not reflect who we are, because at a sense, like, you guys were so young and so was I when we were creating this content. Our brains at the end of the day don't fully develop until we're 25, and that might seem like, oh yeah, whatever, but it's like, no, our personalities are changing in either rapid ways or very minuscule ways every day. So like this,
you experience so much in your life.
Well, you yourself don't find your own like content funny anymore. Like you don't want to do that anymore because it's like, no, that's childish, or that's like a dumb way to look at it. Like you yourself grow, right?
Q Lavier has a good point though. We were just making jokes. Like that's what it really came down to. I feel like when we were young like that, we sort of like feel, like I said, we feel invincible because we're young. Like who's gonna prosecute like 18-year-olds over like some shit they said over the internet? You could say whatever the fuck you want. And like even nowadays, you're 25 and you can still say this. You get scared of that. You get scared of like the fallback and like the ramifications of like saying these certain things. But the truth is, it's like a foundationless fear. There's no justification for it. The only thing that's gonna hold you back is yourself. It's you're second guessing yourself. That's what it completely comes down to. It's better to get burned and to like just. It's better to get burned and like try to go for success and be confident than it is to second guess yourself all the time. That's what Magnus Carlsen said, and I don't know if you know who he is, but it's
plus just the easy like the terms
chess player of all time.
The terms of these jokes, right? Like a lot of shit that was said back like when all of us were in like middle school, high school, right? There were terms, I'm not gonna repeat them, but like they were thrown around interchangeably.
They're just words. I know what you mean. They're just words. It's like if that doesn't reflect who you truly are, then you have nothing to worry about. I think that people who censor themselves actually have more to worry about for what they say because they don't want people to know that that's how they reflect.
I don't think it's censoring though. I don't think it's self-censoring. I think it's just like not being a piece of shit. Like,
no, it is self-censoring. I've seen people who you would think that they're like, oh yeah, very PC culture, and then behind the scenes they're a completely different person, and they're super like bigoted and like they're really it's a complete show that they're putting on, and it's like all the stuff that they say in front of the camera, it's all a cover up for like how they truly feel. And like I know at least one person who's like this. At least one person.
That's fine, but I'm saying like if you yourself, like you just described, who have met your fans, seen people in real life, know people, watch you, look up to you, right? Back in the day, I mean, I don't care if this gets clipped or whatever. Like back in the day, like. No, I don't want to say it, but like, there's a term for gay people that starts with an F. We know what it is. Don't type it or I'll ban you.
I said it a bunch.
Same. Unfortunately, I regret that I did. But like, I grew the fuck up and I realized like this is bad. It's derogatory and it offends people. Like I'm gonna choose to be better. It's not self-censoring. It's just growing the fuck up and not willingly being a piece of shit.
I know what you mean by that.
Right.
I know what you mean, but what I'm talking about is the two-face aspect of it, where it's like you say that you're gonna do it, but then you turn around and you say it anyways.
Yeah, that's
what I'm talking about.
Either way, like that's what I'm saying. Like
growing as a person, and like choosing not to use these derogatory terms anymore. That's great. That's amazing. I think that's
do it
like
off air and on air. That's what makes it genuine and not two-faced.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But the two-face aspect is what I'm talking about. And that's like that's that shit that like I don't fuck with. So.
Right. No, I agree with that.
Like,
so you guys' point earlier, by the way, real quick, when you guys both to touch on the points when you talked about like meeting fans and stuff, I think the best mental you can have for that. I think a lot of times, like as streamers, as content creators, as whatever you want to call us, entertainers, right? Like, unfortunately, you get like this small complex, however small you want to make it, it's still there, to where you're the guy on the screen, you're the one being watched, and there is chat, like there's numbers and names and all that in chat, right? And you almost have this mental of like, I'm the main character of what's happening, and Twitch chat and comment section and numbers, view count, whatever, are the side characters. The best thing to just remember is like, those aren't just, characters that aren't just random names. Like, they're all the main character of their own life too.
Yeah.
Like, they're not just side characters in my life. Like,
I forget what that realization is called, but there's a mental state that you can like become.
Oh my god!
Basically,
Don't go down that. I know what you're talking about. It's the one where you're driving on the freeway and you realize that every single individual person is living their own entire.
Yeah. But that's just. I feel like that's just the state of being like woke. That's just like, you know what I mean? Like,
it helps you like not have a god complex and not be like, separate yourself from them.
Really does humble yourself and make you
it keeps you
realize
humble.
Every single person that I interact with on a daily basis is just as important as I am.
Exactly, and that's it's also a driving force behind like tolerance. Like tolerance and like understanding and like not being prejudiced, like being able to understand that everybody when they're born is just this child. They're just this defenseless being that like needs to be nurtured in some way or another. And when they grow up, they have like their own decisions that they can make, and they have their own mind and their own personality, and everybody's an individual, and that you can't just like lump them into categories without making some massive mistakes, like enormous mistakes. You could like have like one stereotype and just like roll with it, and like if you're right 49% of the time, the 51% is such a massive number. Even if it's just 1% incorrect, that's such a massive number that you should never ever even attempt to like do that thing. And like it's like one of the, I don't know, I would say that I'm like very tolerant, like in terms.
And that's the thing, is like as Twitch chat talks to you more, right? Like if you stream a lot, and like you interact with chat a lot, you learn more about them, and like the more you think about it, it's just like, this isn't just a name with text that appears. Like, this is a person that gets up every day. They went to school. They were born. They like graduated high school. They're like struggling with a job. They go to sleep. They wake up. Like, they're, even when you press end stream, like, they still keep going, right? They're not you're not like you're not the center of their world is the best thing.
We could talk about this all night. Like, literally it just keeps going on, which is why that I think that like it's more correct to like find individuals that require like attention for you to like really like get down to the brass tacks and be like, this is not okay to them, and to like really like to individuals. It's not a group thing. It's an individual thing. Like, I can say that I think that the way that like the government run in China is the way the government is run in China is extremely fucked up. Like, the way that they're treating like the people in Hong Kong and stuff, and how they're like burning like universities filled with students, and like Tiananmen Square and stuff like that. It's all one guy who's calling the shots, and everybody's too scared of him to do anything about it, and he's got too much power, and like he's got too much influence. So it's not like a Chinese problem. It's a this guy is fucked up problem. Like, we gotta like deal with that dude. Like, it's just fucked up. So like that's all I really have to say on the subject. I think that we can maybe try to wrap this up for this podcast. We talked about some hella deep stuff. I like it. We went deep into the roots of our own self-conscious minds, and like what we like talked about, like our individual like feelings and experiences. And it's like that's what I really like about the podcast, because like we can get those feelings out, and it's not just like banter about like new stuff all the time. Like it's not a consumerist podcast. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a thoughtful podcast, which is I think that's more the direction we want to go down. Which, I mean, they could be your own.
Setting the standard here is what we're doing.
Yeah, that is to say, there's nothing wrong with talking about like crazy stories that we've done or whatever, and we don't have to go down this route all the time. But like, when we do have these conversations, they're very productive, I think.
Yeah, it's like, you're not gonna get, like, someone in chat basically, it's like, you're not gonna invite a guy that goes by the name of PeteZahHutt, and the first question is, all right, do you eat at PeteZahHutt? Let's talk about this for half an hour. If you don't, what's your favorite dinner meal then? It's like, no.
It's like a good kind of roller coaster, right? Because it's like, you stay for the funnies, you show up for the funnies.
It's not that I don't fucking know you, dude. It's like, literally, like we like cultivated your entire channel based off of like the BYD podcast. This is why this is such a throwback. This is why this is so insane. Like, you came to us through the BYD podcast, which is why this is like a new birthing of you, where you're just like going on into like the new world and like of the podcast world. And it's like it's like the full fucking loop, you know? That's what it is. You just came full circle. We came all the way around. It's like where did Pete come from? Here it is, guys. At the end of the podcast, this is where I'm gonna lay it down. Pete came from the BYD server. You are one of the most trustworthy people on that podcast. It was for the BYD podcast, but it was the BYD server. And you were one of the most trustworthy people on that server. Then we gave you moderator status and like.
No, the fuck I wasn't.
Yeah, dude, you were on top of your shit, and you were like, I don't know.
I started off our entire relationship by lying about my age.
Yeah, that was great. Exactly, dude. That's how we know we can trust you. That's how we know we can trust you, man. It means you're gonna get shit done. That means you're a fucking go-getter, man. Like that's why I'm disappointed in you, Jack. You should have said you were 21 when you walked into that.
This right here is why Matt's a good host of this podcast, right there.
Why?
Saying that me lying about my age is a go-getter. Like keep it up. You did a good job. That's
yeah, exactly, Jack. That's what you should have done, man. You should have went right into that strip club. Like, how old are you? 27. Like, what? Like, they're just gonna let me see some ID, and then
I'm a liar. What the fuck?
And then you're like, here's my ID, and then you give them like a 100, and they're like, oh, right this way, Benjamin. Like,
it's just like, I don't know. Like, I've always had this problem for a long time of just like cascading risk versus reward. So it's like, cool, let's go in here, Aladdin's bartender. Yes, I'm 21. All right,
no. I know what you mean. I know exactly. What you mean. Of just like it goes downhill really fucking fast.
Exactly. Like, it could get so bad for so many people involved if I just decide to just be a piece of shit. So
no. I know exactly what you mean, and like the way that it worked out was fucking perfect. Like they knew away that you were like this honest, innocent kid, and they're like, "Oh, let's bring him into our fucking sex dungeon. Why not? Like,
let's bring him into the strip club to get his dad out."
Oh, that's good. That's good. But yeah, Pete, dude, that was sick. And like we just like we got you in like our group, and like we were like, this guy's cool. He's well spoken. You know, he's funny. Sure, we'll have you join some of our recording sessions. Why not? Like we did that with everybody back in the day, like essentially. And then you just took off from there, and like you take fucking good care of yourself, like in terms of like making your own content and like producing your own stuff. Like it's just super cool. Like I could never do that when I was a kid. Like I even nowadays making my own stuff on YouTube is just like so difficult. Like it's so like I just want to. I've just been I've been to too many like corners of YouTube, and I've done too many things. I've tried too many things. I've seen too many things fail to have that same spirit that I used to, which I mean, that's just my own fault for maybe not producing better content, but
that's why I'm trying to resuscitate you via convincing you to start a podcast.
Yeah, no, it's working, man. Fuck yeah. There's 3 videos in the past month. That's like a record or something.
Well, you're here doing exactly what you're giving me compliments for. Like you have been around YouTube for so long, and yet here you are again, still trying something new. What I did for the longest time as well. So like, there's a shared skill in that. So like, you got to give yourself credit as well too. Like, you know, you're still kicking.
Yeah, no, I'm still here. I'm still around. I quit YouTube like 7 times. I'm still doing it. You know, like it's just that's what it was.
Dedication or stubbornness? We'll never fucking know.
Yeah, exactly.
I still don't know myself either. Am I gonna stop? I don't know if I can.
I think it comes down to it really did spring from like a passion, like a really true passion of just like I want to share something with the world, and I feel like this is the best way to do it, just because it's such a public forum and there's like anybody can go and see this. So like that is what I really want to get out there, and it's like I want to entertain people and I want to change some lives, and that's what it comes down to.
Matt, yeah, speaking of that.
Go ahead.
Oh, real quick, I was just gonna say you can hold your head up high because we get tweets and we see comments like on the YouTube videos, and we see people in chat say, "I look forward to Tuesday because the podcast." Like we've done that for people.
Yeah,
you know, and I think that's the coolest fucking feeling like you could ever have from doing this.
Exactly. That's why I'm fucking glad you decided to like actually like stick through for today. It may have been a long week. You said that it was a long week, but man, you came through, man. You came fucking through, and I love it. So same time next week we're getting Rob on the podcast. That's gonna be dope, man.
This is no meme. I ate PeteZahHutt today. This is no fucking meme. I have it in my fridge like leftover. I had PeteZahHutt today. Do you really? I'll get it.
Go get it. I want to see this PeteZahHutt. We're gonna compare the two. We're gonna see if we can find the similarities between our Pizza Hut and Jack's Pizza Hut.
Dude, unless he got like nothing but fucking mozzarella cheese and threw on some like white spray print, I don't think he's gonna find any similarities in that whatsoever.
White mozzarella and white spray paint, dude. Come on, I know you're white, but like,
Dude, that pizza's got more of a tan line than I'll ever have.
Holy shit, that's a badass box. Holy fuck. Yo, can we see it? Can you open it? Can you ship me the leftovers? I'm starving, please. Wait, what? We didn't even see the pizza.
You want to see the pizza?
Yeah, fuck yeah. Are you kidding? Come here.
It's nothing fancy.
I don't care. Don't be ashamed of your pizza.
It's a reflection of your personality.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna judge you based off your pizza. It's a boring old. This pizza's now famous.
Hey, is that meat lovers?
It's stuffed crust, pepperoni, and sausage. All right,
fucking
good
love
shit.
This, I love it. That is
Perfect. That's perfect. Fuck yeah, dude. You know, I can make my own stuffed crust pizza like at home. Like it's fucking epic. Like literally making your own stuffed crust is like one of the best things. Like you roll out the dough, and like you roll out the dough. You make it as big as you can because the stuffed crust is gonna make it a bit smaller, and you just put like mozzarella just legit like on the edge of the pizza, and then you roll it up, and you really gotta push down like the edges of the pizza like hard so that it like sticks and it becomes like one with the previous like slide of the pizza, and then you just have fucking stuffed crust. You put the rest of your stuff on. It's amazing. So good. It's so good. I can't wait to make my own pizza again.
See, going back to what you were saying earlier about how topics are, not predictable. This is literally what the first topic would have been if they were predictable. Like, hey, all right, let's talk about pizza for an hour, and then
it's good.
Maybe segue to something else. Like,
Exactly.
What's funny is we started getting on those conversations about like the drunk convos, but like we got to that topic because we had talked about not getting to that topic. At this point we may be talking about like drunk conversations, and then when we talk about drunk conversations, like, oh, okay.
You know what it is? You know what it is? Don't think about elephants. That's just it. That's just the whole thing in a nutshell. So what are you thinking about right now? Elephants. It's the whole like war against drugs thing. It's like war against drugs. What are drugs? Oh shit, they would never have known what drugs are if we didn't say anything. Now everybody wants drugs. Like, fuck.
Somebody in chat, fucking, he says the game. The game. Yeah.
I lost that a week ago. It's okay. It's starting to pop up again. Some fucking dude made it more popular now. And
Pete, when did you show up like with like Mitch and Matt and everybody like in the timeline? Because I honestly don't know.
The BYD podcast. This was right around the fridge opened. No, before the fridge.
It wasn't the podcast. It was the server.
Yeah, the server.
Minecraft server. Okay.
Wait, was the server a part of the podcast? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was. We launched the server with the podcast, and it was a way of getting people to play on the server because we would launch the podcast. We'd do all this stuff, and then check out the server after, guys. Go. Yeah. It's open right now. Okay. All that stuff.
So that's when I first came around. They had a Minecraft server that they just opened, and Matt knows this. I was a huge fan of their entire group, and that's how I got to know them originally. When
Same.
And look at Pete, look at Jack. Can you tell these people are smart and that they're not like just gonna get influenced by like the one thing that somebody says online, and like they're not gonna be like, oh yeah, these guys are talking about like how fun drinking and how fun smoking is, and then they're gonna go out and do it themselves. No, they've heard me say this shit a million times and they're still straight edge. Come on, like you can't use that as an argument that if you're the people on online are like, I'm looking straight at chat when I'm saying this, by the way. I'm like, no one in chat said this, but it's I guess it's just like a little bit of projection, but sorry about that. Continue. Forget me. Forget that whole tangent.
I was just wondering when you were like in the mix of everything, because like.
Was it 2012? Was it 2012 or 2011? I think it might have been as early as 2011. All I know is that they started a Minecraft server, and it was only open to 125 people at the time, and it filled up quick. These dudes were fucking popping at this time, right? 125 slot server. I couldn't get in, and I was pissed because this was like a first come first serve thing, and I knew if I was gonna be able to talk to these people, this was my fucking chance. I just bought a Minecraft account 3 weeks ago. This is my fucking chance. The server crashed. It had to restart. And I had a second opportunity, and I got in on the second chance. You know what I did? The second I got on the server, when everybody else was just hovering around, you know, like fisting all of you guys just flying around at spawn, I got on that server. The second I got on there, I went straight to where you could walk out into the wilderness. And the second that you guys let that out, I was like, I'm building a house. I was the first person right next to Matt's like giant sex dungeon bedrock looking ass thing. I built a house. And I remember watching the live stream, someone being like, this dude already built a house. And I'm sitting there like, this is how it begins. I straight up, you guys think that I just became a trustworthy person. I played those cards so right. Yeah. And it just all went
hell yeah, man. So, yo, you're the man with the plan. It's great.
I met Matt drunk on Halo Reach.
Yeah,
that was also a fan.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great story.
I made my Twitter just to fucking follow fucking like Matt and Mitch and them back in the day. When they were doing Call of Duty, like Quest to fucking 50 on Keynote or Toten. Drunk ass Matt puts out a tweet who wants to play Halo Reach. I didn't know he was drunk. I said, sure, dude. Hits me up. I'm like with this dude I'm a fanboy of, and he's just fucking plastered. I'm just like, sick. And then he added me on Xbox Live after that, and then they needed people to film zombie stuff, and then I was just in a bunch of old ASF stuff.
If anyone ever asks, why did you go PG, please clip this moment and send it to me. Matt used to be the kind of person to meet a shit-faced drunk. Asking, any viewers want to play some Halo?
It sounded like fun. Wouldn't that be fun, though? Like, you're just wasted, and you're like, I want to play video games, but I don't want to play video games alone.
Imagine if, like, Reddit and, like,
my fans.
Imagine if, like, Reddit and, like, easily capturable like evidence like this and like everything was like that back in the day. You could have been fucked like if I was like the wrong person.
All of us would have been.
What do you mean?
That's true.
What do you mean? I would still be making videos. Nothing would change.
It would just be fucking like cancel culture bullshit or like public reception bullshit.
No way, man. No way. Honestly, getting drunk and playing video games is like the least of like anybody's worries. Like there's no reason to draw attention to that whatsoever. It's not even that special.
That's like Pete. Have you've seen Jerome Derby, right? Right?
Yes, like 20 times.
I'm in it.
Again, I'm reminding you, I was a fan of these people. Those were some of my favorites.
Well, I'm trying to give you a timeline. Like I was in that. That's where I was like around with ASF.
Wait, you were in that video?
Yeah, I'm White X Joker in that video.
Oh my god!
yeah.
What's up, dog?
Yeah, what's up? That's him. That's him,
what
dude.
What the fuck? Okay, this is... Hey, going back to that the full circle thing. Holy Christ. Okay.
Isn't it amazing? Like, this podcast is fucking lit, man.
This ain't awkward at all. How the fuck you doing?
How you doing?
Yeah, how you doing? How you doing, man? Oh, I see you've been around the block a few times. This is good. This is good.
I was another dude who was like, I praise you, Jerome, fucking like for his dumb bullshit. Like I was in the Xbox Live party.
Yeah.
My brother still quotes it to me to this day because he fucking showed all of his friends I was in that video.
Hell yeah.
Actually,
we could probably find Rain Man and get him on this podcast. That would be nuts.
Dude, Rain Man was like my buddy because we were like nobodies. It was like the four of us doing like zombies content, and it was you and Mitch who were like, you know, relevant, and then it was you want to talk about being not the main character of your own life. That's what it felt like to be me and Rain Man back in the day.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus fuck.
Oh my god.
I'm just saying, that's what it felt like.
Yeah, man.
Hey, we're here to film Ascension. Could you guys just like not die? Can you just stand over there, just please? Just like, okay. Whatever you say, Mitch, I'm on it. Just like.
My name's Nooch. Don't forget to get fucked by the giant donkey on the way out.
Yeah, man. That was great, man.
Scratches the surface of it.
Yeah, exactly. That
just you go back. The surface. It was me, you, Jerome, Mitch, and Zach, all in Modern Warfare 3. The little mini tournament, I was getting fucking butthurt over you running around with a striker, and I was fucking screeching like a fucking child. You just kept killing me. Like
I remember that. I remember how mad you were getting, and that was like fueling my determination. Like literally, like there's an inverse like relationship between how much fun I'm having and how angry I'm making people. Like,
dude, I was like, Matt, could you stop running around with the striker, please? Try to play the game. Like it was
I'm just like,
It
nope.
was something.
I want to win.
Yeah, I was in that video, dog. That
Yeah.
was me.
Yeah,
That's so crazy.
old
I had to
Actually.
disappear because my dad was like, "You're looking at a fucking screen too much and talking to strangers on the internet." I'm like, "No, Dad, this is like going somewhere." And he super just like didn't understand it, so I basically just like had to dip out of like being in ASF stuff before Minecraft even started.
Predator missile. You're done, asshole. Triple kill.
Suck my blue dick. I am Smurf is the one that fucking kills me to this day.
We're handing out handies as well as blowjobs for the flight. Oh my god.
Honey, this is a really good sandwich.
God, that's so good.
I remember I was just like, how does this guy have a girlfriend? How does this guy have a girlfriend? I don't get it.
Girlfriend.
I remember I said that.
Oh, it's amazing. All right, well, honestly, bomb ass podcast. What do you guys think? You think we should call it?
I was happy to be here, and yeah, I think it's a good place to call it.
Hell yeah.
Wednesday
All right, Jack, you
show,
want to take us out?
Tied a ribbon.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, chat. Can I call you chat? That is it for the technically fourth installment of the 777 podcast. I've had a lovely time hanging out with Pizza here, who I never met, but he was, he's a fanboy of me long before I knew him. Know what I'm saying, chat? And and it was good to be here. It really actually like cheered me up, made the week so much better. It was good to shoot the shit with chat. Thank you all for coming out every week. I'm glad we're able to make your week, and you guys look forward to seeing us because we look forward to seeing you too. Matt, kill it.
Peace out, guys. Have a good one. Later.